longest shot feeling for the Preds since when? How's it compared to 5 years ago going into that series?
I think they're a bigger underdog going into this series than they were that series. Yeah. I really do.
I think the difference in that series, the Blackhawks had done it. So they had the core that had won multiple championships, so you sort of, you had that about them that you knew, but the Preds were definitely, the Preds had Pekka Rinne still playing at a high level, along with a better team. We turned out to be certainly a better team, but at the time, did we know it was definitely a better team than this team? Take the goalie out of the equation?
I don't know. That's a good question. I will say I do know, and people often forget this about that team. But remember, that's the first year after PK Subban got traded. And I remember, there were some people around the country preseason that picked them to win the Stanley Cup and that picked them to go to the Cup final. That obviously did not happen this year with the Predators. So does that mean the team was better? No, not really. But I think certainly to your point about Pekka, you felt a whole lot better about the goaltending situation heading in than you do right now.
Yeah. Now, Pekka then versus Saros now, at least it's worth talking about, right? Saros at his highest level is very good, but that's the huge difference. That team was, just like a lot of that team and what you figured out about it came during that 2 months in the playoffs, and then you also again had the Parentos and Fiddlers and Salamakis and whatnot doing magical things, but that's nothing you could ever predict.
Can I just say very quickly how much I miss PA Parento? Because Laviolette used to be all secretive about the lineup. You didn't know, going back to the Cup final thing.
The Parento just told us.
Is Pekka Rinne going to play in Game 3? What's going to happen here? Let's be all secretive about everything. And Parento would come in I think I'm out tonight, but they're moving Harry Z on the fourth line, and they're moving it. Okay, cool. So he just doesn't care. He's just going to say whatever's going to happen tonight. So
that's awesome. And how the heck do I not mention Zolnarchuk? Jeez. Of course, Zolnarchuk.
Stud.
That's a great anecdote, by the way. Doc Emmerich. So Pete told me this that night in Chicago, Game 2. He's like, this could be good for your column. And I'm like, all right, let me hear it. And he's like, Emmerich came in during a break, and he's like, how do you say Zolnarchuk? Is Zolnarczyk or what? And it was Pete Weber helps him out, because of course Zolnarchuk scored the huge goal. Oh, yeah. I don't even know which goal it was, but it was a big one.
Put about 2-0.
Yeah, the second goal. Yeah. So good times.
It was good times indeed. Michelle, what's going on? How we doing? Congratulations to our Miami Heat and Tyler Hero last night. Big win against the Sixers.
Yeah, it was a close game, and then I looked up and was like, okay, I can turn this off now. They're going to win. I can go to bed. Doing well this morning.
I don't think that series is going to last very long.
Yeah, especially without Joel Embiid. I also did not see the second game, so I have no idea who won. Guys, it has been a morning. Quick, funny story. I was just wandering around my parking garage this morning. I could not find my car for probably about 15 minutes. It's quite the sight. Obviously, we found it, though, and we made it to work on time and off and rolling. So, what a way to start the morning.
Is this telling us that you actually prefer a car with only one mirror so it's easier to find?
Well, maybe.
Sticks out in the crowd?
I think I went to every single floor. Yeah, let's not smash that. That would be bad. And we know I definitely cannot go to that body shop again, so let's not do that.
Hey, there's a lot of body shops around here.
I wonder if they're listening still.
Could be.
Hope not.
By the way, just so you know, the Suns did win last night. So Phoenix, 121-114 win against the Dallas Mavericks. So there you go.
I like that win. I'm rooting for them
too.
I
really wanted to watch that game, but got to make choices.
Do you have to make choices? Because there will be a game that we're watching tonight. I don't think there's any question about that. The Stanley Cup playoffs officially underway. The Blues hammer the Wild yesterday 4-0 the final. The Kings get a 4-3 win on the road in Edmonton to kick off the Cup playoffs. Toronto destroyed Tampa Bay yesterday 5-0. And the Hurricanes take down the Bruins 5-1 in a game where they're still booing Eric Halla up there, which is still one of my favorite things ever. So Eric Halla taking on the Hurricanes 2 years in a row and still booing that guy.
So it's going to be Tampa Bay in 5, isn't it? Toronto's not going to score another goal the rest of the series.
Look, I picked Tampa Bay in 5 before the series. I will say Toronto looked awfully good last night, but the amount of people that took that information and then decided that they were just going to bury the Tampa Bay Lightning last night, I was like, all righty, let's pump the brakes. I texted our good friend Ryan Porth, and I said,
I saw one of his tweets. I'm like, calm down, dude.
I said, bury the Tampa Bay Lightning at your own peril, my friend.
Yeah, he said something like they're just going to skate around him the whole series. Like, easy. Who told you this? Is this Hub? Is this information you're getting from Hub? Is Hub? Come on, you're listening to Hub too much.
Hub with his Justin Fields jersey on as he's watching these things go on. Yeah, can't have that.
We got to have Hub on sometime.
Yeah, we do. We can get to the bottom of his MVP process. So, Joe, obviously that sets up game 1 for the Preds tonight against the Colorado Avalanche. And there is some news on the UC Saros front. He will be out at least the first 2 games of the series, and then the Predators will go from there, is basically what John Hines said yesterday. I don't think that's a big surprise. We talked about the report from Alex Doherty of A to Z Sports talking about a high ankle sprain. So at least the first 2 games, the Predators will be without UC Saros. And I said this last night on Preds Insiders with John Glennon, who we'll have on today at 8:00. You know, if you're missing the first 2 games, that doesn't, to me, guarantee that you're out the rest of the series, but it does probably mean that the idea of UC Saros coming back at any point in this series and being close to 100%, I have a tough time buying at this point.
Yeah, it seems very unlikely. I mean, look, I guess, let's say somehow the Preds extended this to what game 7 would be on the 15th. So basically, a couple weeks out. At that point, he would be what, about a month in? An injury would be about a month. I mean, when did he suffer this? What was the date? Do you remember?
It was against Calgary, so it was April 26th. So
yeah, so more like,
I mean, it was a week ago today. So
yeah, so 3 weeks. Yeah. I mean, could there be like some Willis Reed game 7 type thing or something like that? I mean, I guess the healing process is different for different people, but seems to me like the most likely scenario is that the Preds would have to advance for any real strong chance of seeing Saros, like you said, close to 100% in the playoffs.
Let's go to our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Rainey text again says, I have absolutely no faith in the Predators, which means they'll probably make a deep run. This coming from Rainey on the text line. I will say, and I think a lot of this is due to Saros. I think a lot of this is also due to the opponent that they're playing. But I have seen very few on Preds Twitter say, you know what? I like it. Everybody's picking against us. This has a chance for us to come in there and pull the upset. It's a very kind of defeated Preds Twitter right now heading into the series, which is weird. There's no pressure, man.
Well, so let's just change that one thing. Just change the one thing with Saros. How different would it be?
I think it would be different. But I mean, let's be honest. Would the picks change all that much? Like, would there be lots of people out there picking the Predators to win this series if Saros is in there? I don't think so. Now,
I don't think so. No.
Would they all be picking the Predators to lose in 4 or 5? Probably not. I mean, you'd probably be more in the 6 range, which that's kind of where I am right now anyway. But no, I don't think it changes the outlook of the series all that much. I just think maybe that the view is they could put up a better fight with Saros, but most people would be picking the Colorado Avalanche to win anyway.
Yeah, most people would. I think Predators fans who, would probably drift toward, it's like you fill out your bracket, how many, if you do a family pool, if there's like a particular school everybody roots for, it's amazing how often that school ends up in the Final Four on so many brackets. It's like, yes. Wait a minute. Like everybody picked, Illinois, really? So, there'd be more Preds fans who could envision this upset. And I feel like you said, very few. Like you got to be really blowing the sunshine right now to feel good about it. But again, it's just a different tournament than any of the other ones. I mean, it's almost like the NCAA tournament, yet with 7-game series, which is hard to pull off.
I called this shot yesterday on Preds Insiders, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it. I think the Preds win tonight. I think they're going to win game 1. I don't have any scientific reason for that. I just have them losing the series in 6 games. I think they're going to win tonight. I think they're going to win 1 at home here in Nashville and then lose game 5 and 6. But I've got them winning tonight.
Okay.
Tell me how crazy I am.
I mean, I got them losing 5-2. So, but I don't know. I mean, I can't say you're crazy. I mean, I understand it. I get when you talk about the psychology and everything, the ambush right away. I could see that. It's the Avs. It's the beginning of what they think is going to be this 2-month odyssey toward the Cup, and the very first game is probably an interesting mix of nerves and pressure and all that stuff. So I don't hate that call.
Lots of people do. I went digging yesterday. I still, other than your person at the Athletic, who we've not been able to uncover yet, I've not found another human being that's picked the Predators to win in this series.
All right, I'm going to find that out today, man.
We need to find out who that is.
Yeah. So okay. So what? So you're saying ESPN? You're saying CBC? Everything? You're going through all of it?
Nothing that I've seen has any. There's not one that I see the Predators winning.
Okay.
So I can dig a little bit deeper, but that's why I say, I feel like even in the Chicago series in 2017, there were at least some people picking the Predators to win. Like more than one was picking the Predators to win.
Yeah, I'd be interested to go back. Of course, my gosh, at that time, 17, the Athletic was a year old.
Yeah.
So I don't even know. They had 8 people. ESPN. Yeah, I'd love to go back and see the ESPN picks for that 17 postseason. Man, there couldn't have been. I mean, maybe 1 or 2 people though, right? I don't know. I'd be surprised. I do remember in town who picked them famously. Who somebody picked them here. Who was it?
I think
even that person stood out. Dude, really? Come on.
I think Darren did.
Was it really?
I think.
Wow. Good job, Darren. There was a lot of, again, and I actually remember going on Darren's show, and a lot of the, man, if they do win.
Yeah.
If they do win, it looks good, but it's yeah, sure, great, sounds wonderful, but they're not going to win. Well, that's true. Good for him. And locally, do we have anyone? We don't have anybody locally picking them, do we?
Not that I've seen. I don't think anybody's gone out there and taken that leap of faith yet, except for Keith from Bowling Green on our text line that says, would it be a hot take if I picked the Predators in 6, or would it be a homer pick? Maybe a little bit of both, but you're welcome to do it, Keith.
Yeah, let's call it a hot homer pick, Keith.
Well done, Keith. We're off and running here today on Robby and Rexrode, taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. So as the Preds take on the Avs tonight in game 1, who do we feel good about on this Preds team right now heading into this series? We'll get into that next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025, The Game.
Every Wednesday at 5, join us for Jared versus Joe as they debate all of the big topics in sports, presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment and Mayweather Boxing and Fitness on ESPN 1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
There's no such thing as a good excuse for not buckling up. Law enforcement are writing tickets, so why take the risk? Click it or ticket. A message brought to you by NHTSA.
This is Chef John from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville. Inviting you to come join us for breakfast and lunch. We are offering some exciting new menu items. For breakfast, we have a smoked prime rib hash. Comes with a sunny side up egg, hominy, caramelized onions. It's a great start to your day. We are featuring a sourdough pancake made with a sourdough bread starter. It's a fun spin on the classic buttermilk pancake. As always, Kitchen Notes is serving biscuits all day. Come join us and create a memorable experience here at the Omni Hotel. Food is all about memories for us. We'd like you to start a new memory here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Hotel.
Breakfast at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Realizing Geico's great service and licensed agents are available at your fingertips is like realizing the plastic piece that comes with your pizza isn't a tiny doll table. It's to keep the box from touching the pizza.
Hey, the pizza's stuck to the box. Where's that little plastic thing? Dolly needed it for her tea party.
It's something that's been right there in front of you all along, like the dedicated Geico claims team available to you in the event of an accident to get you back on the road quickly, or how your smartphone charges faster when you put it on airplane mode.
Wow, what if I put it on rocket mode?
It's something you can't believe you never realized before, like how Geico's industry-leading app lets you pay your bill, file a claim, manage your policy, or summon help when you need it. Or how those holes in your shower caddy are there so you can store your shampoo bottles upside down.
Showers happen fast when you're not waiting on shampoo.
Great service. It's just one of the many reasons to switch to Geico. They're all right there in front of you.
Winter's a bad time for your furnace to go out, but it's never a bad time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Huckleberry Brewing is now open. Formerly Cool Springs Brewery. New owners, new look, fabulous menu, and same great location. So come on out and join us for a live remote on Tuesday, May 3rd with ESPN The Game, as we're proud to be an official Predators watch party destination. Come cheer on our Preds and enjoy one or all of our great craft beers. Our master brewer and friendly staff can't wait to see you. Bring the kids and let them enjoy our game room. Huckleberry Brewing is located at 600A Fraser Drive, next to Sperry's in Cool Springs.
O'Reilly. This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Progressive knows that most people don't get to experience making a game-winning touchdown or a walk-off home run. So we're going to talk to you like you did something great, so you can bask in the glory.
Sorry to bother you, but you're the one who bundled their home, auto, boat, and other vehicles with Progressive, right? I seriously still talk about that with my friends. How you saved all that money? Hey, you mind if I take a selfie with you? That would be amazing.
If you can't bask in sports glory, at least you can bask in the glory of saving money when you bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Interact with Robby and Rexrode. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Hey, John, you guys have played well against the Avs this year. You've got guys who played deep runs before. I would imagine it's not a big sales job to convince these guys they can win this series.
You know, I think the big thing is, you know, like we've talked about. I mean, we feel like we certainly belong in the playoffs. We feel like we have a real strong identity, and as you said, we have some good experience of guys that have made some runs. You know, I thought we had some of our younger guys that are in the lineup now had gone through a pretty good playoff series against Carolina last year, and now it's now it's coming in, and I think it's not reading too much into it. Is that, you know, we know how we need to play to be able to give ourselves the best chance to win. And I think our focus has to be, regardless of, experience, no experience, is come in and focus on the game, because that's ultimately what's going to make the difference is how we play and getting to our identity and doing a good job of the things that the Avalanche do really well. And I think if we do that, we'll give ourselves a chance.
That was Preds head coach John Hines looking ahead to game one between the Preds and the Colorado Avalanche. As we pointed out yesterday, Joe, the Preds did win 3 out of 4 against the Avalanche in the regular season this year. Now, we'll see how that translates to the playoffs part of this, which is not always the same thing. But certainly, if you're the Predators, as Corey pointed out of that question there, may be easy to sell yourself on, yeah, we know how to play against these guys. You've beaten them 3 times this year, so we'll see how that translates to the series. But, Joe, not exactly the strongest ending to the season for the Predators. Obviously, they struggled coming down the stretch, including being up 4-0 against the Arizona Coyotes and losing 5-4 in regulation. And, you know, they gave up, I think, at least 5 goals or more. And let's just look at the last 2 weeks here for the Predators coming down the stretch. So you gave up 8 against St. Louis, 6 against Tampa, 5 against Minnesota, 5 against Calgary, 4 against Colorado, and then 5 against Arizona. It's not a great way to end the season there if you're the Predators, especially defensively. So as we sit here today, looking ahead to game 1, how many guys on the Preds are you feeling good about heading into this series? Because honestly, my list is pretty short based on the way that they ended the season. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that translates immediately into the playoffs. And you could have guys like Luke Cunnin or, Tanner Jeannot, who ended the season, kind of quiet offensively. They could come out tonight and just start lighting it up. So I don't discount that possibility. But honestly, Joe, I look at the lineup right now. I feel good about Duchesne. I feel good about Johansson. I feel good about Forsberg. And I feel good about Granlund. And at forward, that may be where that list stops at the moment in terms of offensive production. I understand that there are different jobs for different people, but offensive production, that may be where that list stops at the forward group right now. And obviously feel pretty good about Roman Josi.
I was going to say, yeah, throw Josi in there and offensive production. And look, I mean, that's about it. There are some, I think the big thing here is the herd line. That's, they were quiet. We talked about it last week. I mean, extended droughts, point droughts for all of them. I think that ended, but still overall it just hasn't been nearly as impactful. And to me, like they've got to be the line, very different situation 4 years later. But Sissons was a part of the line that was huge in this series 4 years ago.
Yep.
And that line now, that was, of course, we said it yesterday, Austin Watson, Nick Bonino. And it's his line to me that is key here. They've got to establish, they got to do what they do, and they've got to produce. I think that, a guy like Trennan, not just Jeannot, but a guy like Trennan, some key plays. And I thought Trennan had some really good moments in the postseason last year. He's one of those young guys who got a taste of it last year. And so you hope he, responds. Because I don't even know if Tolvin is going to be in the lineup.
Yeah.
A guy like Tomasino, this should be good for him, whatever happens, but can you count on him? I don't know.
And I will say and I'm glad you brought him up, because I think, as much as a lot of people wanted to avoid Calgary, and I understand it, I think in a matchup like this, Tomasino is better suited for the Avalanche than he is the Flames. Yeah. Just my thoughts on it. Like, I don't think you have to worry about it as much if you're Tomasino getting driven into the boards left and right. I'm not saying that Colorado can't hit and they won't hit, because they will, but it's not the same as Calgary coming down.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, this is, I'm sure, I don't know how many guys if they were secretly in their inner thoughts, thinking one way or the other on those two opponents, he might be one of those guys like, okay, that's fine. let's go play the Avs. But to me, it's the herd line. They've got to be great. And when this team was, because look, Forsberg and Duchesne, obviously that's going to be a big focal point for Colorado. You need them to be good 5-on-5. Obviously, you need to have power play production. But if that herd line plays like it did for stretches this year, when not only were they at their best, but I think the team was at its best, then maybe you have something. I think that's, and whatever it is, and you tell me, I'm not smart enough to figure out why they weren't as impactful or as effective down the stretch, but whatever it is, and that's got to change starting tonight.
It does. And, a big part of that, I think, is taking care of the puck. And that seems like, okay, duh, Robbie, you got to take care of the puck against everybody. And I understand that. But I think especially in this matchup, like what you can't have happen, and, Glennon brought this up yesterday, but I think it's a great point. Go back and look at that St. Louis game where things just totally unraveled in the second period. Yes, it was great shots by St. Louis. Yes, there were probably a couple that either Saros or Riddick could have stopped. But a lot of those plays started on either missing the net on one side and it going the other way, or it started on turnovers and you got odd man rushes coming back the other way. And you can't turn the puck over in the neutral zone against Colorado and give up odd man rushes the other way and think that you're going to have any chance in this series. because they'll make you pay every time. I mean, you can't have that in this series. So especially like the herd line, it sounds so boring, but it's what makes them really good is when they're taking care of the puck and they're putting it where you need to put it on the dump ins in the corner. That's when you get your forecheck going. That's when you start to lay the body on people. And that's when you can cause some havoc. And I didn't think that it wasn't just the herd line. I didn't think that the team as a whole was doing that well enough to end the season, but that's got to be something that you do against Colorado, or you're just not going to give yourself much of a chance.
I go back to my night of watching Preds Flames with Crispy and Lindsay. And I don't know if John Hines is the same mindset, but from Crispy's perspective, anyone trying to freaking bring the puck into the zone, get the heck off the ice right now. Dump the freaking puck and go get it, damn it. I mean,
I might give Roman Josi a pass on that, but yes, I understand what he's saying.
Yeah, exactly. You got some exceptions, right? And that's it. But it's like, other than those top guys, dump the puck and go hit somebody. But that's exactly what it's a great point, get it in there and then go do your work. And they know that, but the mistakes at times, they do seem to cluster on them. And certainly that game was the biggest example. And you don't want that against these guys. That is for sure. They're tough enough in the, when you're in the D zone. So can't give them any sort of advantage.
No question about that. Danny on the text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, says, I honestly feel this is a good matchup for the Preds. I don't know if the Avs are up to a physical battle they're going to be in for. It'll be fun to see how the Avs deal with it and being hit every play for a series. This coming from Danny on the text line. Now, I agree with that to a certain extent. I would also say, like, the Avs are not a small team. Like, it's not like the Avs are, the 2016 Penguins running around out there, or, the Blackhawks back in their heyday. Like, they got some size to him. I mean, Val Nichushkin's a big kid. Devontae's is pretty big. Nathan McKinnon is built like a tank. He can take care of himself. I mean, Landeskog is huge. So I understand it. I agree that the Predators are the more physical team, but this is not like that they're taking on, the seven dwarfs out there. They've got a chance to. They're going to lay the body too, and you got to be able to handle that and take it to a different level if you're the Predators.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to be. I mean, it's your preferred style and not theirs, but it's not like they're ill-equipped for it. And they know what the Preds are going to try to do. Of course they do. Everybody knows that's how the Preds have to play, and that's when they're at their best. I mean, Colorado's not going to be like unprepared for that.
We'll continue to take your thoughts on the Predators on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Do the Preds have a couple of guys that we now feel like maybe could be difference makers in the series? I'll tell you what I mean by that coming up next. Speaking of the Predators, playoffs are beginning tonight. Game 1 against the Preds and the Avalanche, and the 2022 Stanley Cup playoffs are underway. They need you at Bridgestone Arena coming up in games 3 and 4. Round 1 playoff tickets are on sale now at NashvillePredators.com/tickets. And these are the games you don't want to miss. Epic goals, massive wins, and historic moments. If you've never been to a playoff game before, you need to check it out. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets to be there for all the action. Stand with us, Smashville, and paint the town Preds. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets.
This is Mikhail Kralland, and this is Smashville.
The rebound shoveled in by Mikhail Kralland, and the Predators have tied it up on the power play.
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 1025, their game.
Indeed believes less is more. That's why they have powerful tools to help you source, screen, and hire quality people faster. Learn more at Indeed.com/credit.
It's not too late. Make this the best Mother's Day yet with the perfect gift from Electronic Express. Great deals on top brands like Samsung, LG, Whirlpool, Sony, Cuisinart, Dyson, and more. We've also got huge savings in every department. Computers, 4K TVs, appliances, housewares, furniture, and more. Save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Shop in-store or online with free express delivery on most items. Shop spring savings at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Nashville is growing, and so are we. The Nashville Sheriff is hiring correctional officer trainees. Starting pay is $38,300. After 8 weeks paid training, earn $41,767. Come join our team and ask about our new paid job shadowing program. Join the best in correction. Apply now at sheriff.nashville.gov/apply or call 615-862-8170. That's 615-862-8170. The Nashville Sheriff, we're more than corrections.
FanDuel Sportsbook NBA same-game parlays give you the chance to turn a little bet into a big payday. Choose any NBA game and combine multiple bets into one wager for bigger wins. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up using promo code PLAY to bet the NBA today. That's promo code PLAY exclusively on FanDuel Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
21 plus and present in Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, permitted parishes only. Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, Wyoming, or West Virginia. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, and Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-877-7770-STOP in Louisiana. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789. 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia.
I miss my baby, someone stole my baby. By the way, my baby is my landscaping truck that was literally stolen from a job site. Baby, won't you please come home?
Owning a small business isn't always as lovely as it sounds, but with 30-plus customizable coverage options, Progressive Commercial keeps your business humming along. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
I love my sweetheart. By the way, that's my riding lawnmower.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage and discounts not available for all vehicles or states. Policy terms and conditions apply.
The sounds. Play ball.
It's gone! A grand slam for Mark Mathias.
The Nashville Sounds are back at First Horizon Park as they take on Norfolk.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Sounds win.
Coverage begins at 6:20 on your home for the Sounds. ESPN 94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Dan Lebitard. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio with you on this Tuesday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Make sure you join ESPN 102.5 The Game for the Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament benefiting Folds of Honor coming up on May 16th at Hermitage Golf Course. You can put your team together and come play with athletes, musicians, and other local celebrities. Sign up at theGameNashville.com/golf. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezvik here with you on this Tuesday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. So, Joe, as I've watched the playoffs the last few years, you know, you see teams like Tampa out there and teams like Florida that have kind of built themselves up to this point. And one of the things that I've asked as the Preds have been in the playoffs the last couple of years is I like a lot of the players that they have, but how many guys do they have on their roster that when push comes to shove and you need to have a play made in the playoffs, how many guys do they have that can do it? I would certainly put Roman Josi in that category, and I think he's been in that category for a long time. But really, outside of goaltending, which obviously is very important, and Josi, I don't really think there have been that many guys that the Predators have had. Ryan Johansson's played very well in the playoffs. Forsberg certainly has had his moments in the playoffs where he's looked really good. But I watch some of these other teams and I say, okay, well, when the Tampa Bay Lightning need to have a play made, you know, Nikita Kucherov can make that play, or Victor Hedman can make that play, or Steven Stamkos can make that play. How many guys do the Predators have like that? And you look around this year, I mean, Forsberg scored 42 goals. Matt Duchene scored 43 goals this year. Do you now view those guys and the seasons that they've had, do you view them in that category of when the Predators absolutely need to have a play that's made and you need to step up in a big moment? Do you have enough confidence in those guys in the postseason that they can get it done at this point?
It's a good question. You know, so when Tampa Bay, I don't remember, when Tampa Bay lost to Matt Duchene in Columbus, were any of those key guys really bad in that series for Tampa Bay? I mean, I don't remember.
Honestly, I don't either, but my guess is they weren't great.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody has because Forsberg, I thought was excellent in the Stanley Cup final run. Forsberg, I thought was that guy the next year.
Yeah.
And then Forsberg was Casper the Ghost in 2019 against the Dallas Stars, just like every forward on the team. So I think with all these guys, you've had examples of both things. So, I mean, I think certainly it's not like there's no way they could do it, but what you need, I think, for this series is like you need all of them to have good, you need that group. If you have one of those guys who kind of fades out and doesn't give you much, then that might be enough to it just might just be too much of an assignment for you. So they need to be great together. Obviously great on the power play too. I mean, Johansson was just absolutely fantastic in 17 before he got hurt. Duchesne last year, even this bad year, but boy, I thought he really responded. And obviously he had the game winner in one game, but I mean, overall, I thought he looked a lot more. I thought Duchesne in last year's playoff was like a preview. Not that we had any idea that it was, but it was kind of a preview of what was to come with him.
Yeah.
And this system and this team. And Duchesne Duchesne got paid here. Yes, David Poile had been pursuing him and had been this Predators fan dream for years, but how he played in that postseason for Columbus, I believe, also made it a lot more attractive to go get him at that time. So certainly he's done things most of his career before that, he wasn't even in the postseason. He was with terrible Colorado teams, or Ottawa, Colorado. So, they've all had their pluses and minuses. Can they align and all be pluses in this series? I think that's got to happen or pretty close to it.
Well, I think so too. And Forsberg is kind of the interesting guy to me because I've always thought he's the one that has the ability to, put your team on your back when you really need it to happen. And we've seen him do it. I mean, you brought up in 2017, he had 16 points in 22 games, but he scored some huge goals in that playoff run. Some big goals against St. Louis, big goals against Chicago. I mean, I think, what was it, game 3 against Chicago? Were they down 2-0 in that game? And he scored 2 in that game to kind of bring them back. And obviously the next year in 18, they had 13 games. He had 16 points and 7 goals, and some of which, go ask the Colorado Avalanche what they thought of Philip Forsberg in that series. He was incredible. And then since then, you brought up the Dallas series, 2 points in 6 games. He had 5 points in 4 games at the bubble, 3 points in 6 games last year against Carolina. I thought they did a pretty good job, the Hurricanes last year, of limiting how effective Forsberg could be. To me, if the Predators have a chance in this series, that can't happen. He's got to be, I'm not saying he's got to be right at a point per game, but he needs to be pretty close to that if the Predators are going to have a chance to win in this series, I think, because to me, he is the guy that has the skill level to take over games. And you could put Duchesne in that category too, which, by the way, this is an interesting series from him, psychologically, because I'm here to tell you, every time he touches the puck tonight, he's going to get booed. They're not big fans of Matt Duchesne right now in Colorado, just because it didn't end all that well with Colorado and Matt Duchesne. So, he is going to be this year's version of Eric Halla. How does he respond to that? Does that drive him? I don't know. I'm interested to see kind of how that aspect of it plays out tonight too, because I don't think there's great blood there between Duchesne and some of the lasting members of the Avalanche who are still there.
Yeah, it's kind of weird though, because it's it's been quite a while, and shouldn't you people all be really happy now that you're this good?
You would think.
but chance to boo someone every time he touches a puck is kind of fun. So yeah, that will be interesting. And yeah, look, I agree with you on Forsberg. He's got to be great. Forsberg and Duchesne both. You're talking about 85 goals between them. So you're talking about more than a goal a game between them. And I would say that you would be in this series. I could argue that you need about a goal and a half a game between them, by the time it's over, to feel better about having a chance to win. Of course, Forsberg 4 years ago in that series against Colorado looked at times like he was playing with youth hockey players with some of his that probably won't look the same this time around, but
probably not. Although he did almost do the same thing to Sam Girard again the other night when they played, which Sam Girard, every time Philip Forsberg's coming down, he's got like, oh my God, man, leave me alone.
Yeah, Forsberg remembers, helping bring him up as a kid through the organization. He's got that psychological edge on him. But that was Forsberg's best, in terms of production postseason. I mean, 7 goals, 9 assists in 13 games. He was, had they advanced past Winnipeg, I mean, he was, he was a Conn Smythe candidate. I mean, you got to go all the way, but that was his best postseason. It started with doing some ridiculous stuff against Colorado. It's just it is amazing that was only 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And again, the role reversal, very interesting here.
We'll continue to take your thoughts on the Predators on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. What do you think John Hines does tonight with the lineup? What should he do with the lineup tonight? We'll discuss that coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Tune in every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. for Nashville's own Jason Fitz with Jarrett Stillman and company. Fitz started his sports talk career right here on 102.5 The Game, and now he anchors shows for ESPN. Jason Fitz is brought to you by Blood Assurance. Give blood. Give local. Give life.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Warm start this morning. It's going to be a little muggy today. Highs will head to the middle 80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms roll through this afternoon and evening.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Nashville's Anheuser-Busch distributor, Ajax Turner Company, is hiring Class A drivers and driver trainees who will obtain their Class A license through the company's very own driver training and testing program for free. Be home every day and off on weekends while earning competitive wages and receiving benefits like medical and life insurance, paid time off, 401k, and supplemental insurance programs. Apply at ajaxturner.com/career or call 615-280-3904. Anheuser-Busch reminds you to drink responsibly.
Parman Energy is your one-stop petroleum solution across all of Tennessee, offering turnkey petroleum solutions for professionals in major industries, serving trucking fleets, construction companies, industrial plants, and more. Whether a large corporation or owner-operator, Parman Energy has your diesel fuel, lubricant, DEF, and equipment needs. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman. Visit ParmanEnergy.com for more info. Your Tennessee petroleum solution, providing totally outrageous customer service.
Come out to Rivergate Mall Food Court on Friday, May 6th between 12:30 and 2:30 to register to win a pair of Preds playoff tickets from ESPN 102.5 The Game. Stop by Sports Seasons while you're at Rivergate Mall for all your Preds game day gear.
Get a great deal on versatile Kubota equipment today, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors, part of our under 100 horsepower tractor lineup rated #1 for reliability, Z Series mowers, and Sidekick utility vehicles. Stop by your local Kubota dealer today. Bring home the Kubota L2501 tractor for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 60 months, plus save up to $1,100 now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
2 locations to serve you, Columbia Kubota or Franklin Kubota. Visit them online at ColumbiaKubota.com or FranklinKubota.com.
For 30 years.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Every thrilling moment has led to this.
What is that?
The biggest carnivore the world has ever seen. And for a limited time only, capture your Barbasol Jurassic cans before they're gone. And don't miss Jurassic World Dominion in theaters June 10th. Rated PG-13. Some material may be inappropriate for children under 13.
Dell Technologies wants to celebrate all your hard work with these Small Business Month specials. Get great value offers on powerful laptops, desktops, and servers with Windows 11 Pro starting at $499. Plus top monitors and docks, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. It's the perfect time to upgrade so you and your team can stay secure from anywhere. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL to refresh your business tech with these Small Business Month specials. Dell recommends Windows 11 Pro for business.
So, what is Jared Stillman going to say this afternoon?
You got to play if you want to earn $14.6 million next year.
Oh, brother, here we go.
But I'm done on investing money in dudes that can't get on the field.
Tune in to Stillman and Company, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
This is some serious stuff right here.
Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
You're listening to Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 1025 The Game.
Are playoff beards still a thing? It seems like we're seeing fewer of them.
I mean, you look at half the league are 21 or under, it feels like. It's a young league now. So, I mean, look at a guy like Tomasino. He's just scrambling, trying to get everything he can. And he's doing a pretty good job. I mean, when I was 20, I don't think I had much more. And, I shaved my beard last night. I'm hoping I can grow a long one by the end of this. And, mustache doesn't go anywhere, though.
So you'll grow the beard in addition to the mustache?
Oh, yeah. Okay. It's coming in. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully we get a long run here, and it'll be looking real good.
That was Philip Forsberg, a.k.a. Super Mario, yesterday at his press conference discussing his mustache and the facial hair of the Predators. I do love that he has now gone to the full shave of the beard to begin the playoff beard, but not touching the stash. It is a pretty amazing stash that Forsberg has grown into. His point, I remember when he came in the league, not a whole lot of facial hair there from Philip Forsberg.
So is the mustache, is that some sort of like, is there a certain city that he might play in after this that is especially, like, is that like because like I think of like, it wouldn't be Milwaukee because that's your minor league affiliate, but like Raleigh Fingers a little bit. Like he's close to the Raleigh Fingers. And just, is he trying to send a message with the facial hair about his next team?
Well, maybe so. We can ask him that. See what goes on.
Yeah. Maybe tonight after the game.
Yeah. Philip, I know you just scored 3 goals. But, let's talk about this.
How's that contract going?
Chris on the text line says, Duchesne revenge tour. Is it Joe or Stillman who thinks the player suddenly will be better against his former team? Tannehill versus Miami is always the reference game. This coming from Chris on the text line.
Are you serious, Chris? You're not actually serious, right?
I think he is.
Like I'm actually getting confused with him on things now. My God. I'm so sorry that I don't like the AJ Brown trade. No, that's Jared. That's Jared with the Tannehill against his former team. Oh,
you don't think Duchesne's on the side of the Rocky Mountains right now doing like some crunches as they get prepared for the game tonight?
Oh man, listen to some Survivor, just running through the mountains, attacking bobcats and wrestling with them. By the way, on the text line, I think this is accurate, and I should have remembered this, but no name on this text, but Floyd Reese was the only one to pick the Predators. I think that is accurate.
Floyd Reese did pick the Predators. That is true.
Yeah, I don't think Darren did.
I think Darren did. I can ask him, but I think he did.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% on that. So,
but Floyd for sure did, and like Jared picked like Blackhawks in 3.
Yes.
But hey, but in his defense, we still tell this story. Like I don't even remember what it was, but we had 2 like family trips, or something like kind of like short trips, like in May, and it was like, oh yeah, I told Katie, oh fine, don't worry, this will be over quick. So. Yeah, she still gives me crap about that, as well she should.
Yeah, I think that is for sure. So we've talked about Duchesne and Forsberg. Joe, I guess I'd be surprised at this point if they're split up. I mean, they tried that coming down the stretch. It didn't really work out so great. I mean, they were still relatively productive, but a lot of that was on the power play when they were back together as well. So my guess is those 2 are probably going to be together. I'm interested to see who's with them. It was Granlund to close out the season. Obviously, we've seen Johansson with them as well. If it's not Johansson, I think maybe that gives him a chance to spark another line, throughout the rest of the lineup. We've seen Johansson in the playoffs. Generally, he takes his game to a different level, and that would be great if he could do that once again for the Predators this year, even though I think he's been really good for the most part in the regular season. But do you think it's Granlund, Forsberg, and Duchesne tonight? How do you think John Hines handles the lineup tonight?
That would be my guess that he would. And I think it's exactly how you laid out there. I think, I think that line works really well. And then also, playoff Ryan Johansson. Again, this year, playoff Ryan Johansson just needs to be roughly the same as regular season Ryan Johansson. But in some years, there's been a pretty marked difference. I'm not saying he's playoff Colin Wilson or anything.
Oh,
okay. No. But I feel like it makes sense to go, keep Granlund with those two guys, and then hope that Johansson can take a line and, elevate guys. I suppose Cunnin, right? I mean, Cunnin going to be up there with him.
Yes.
Cunnin and Tomasino.
That's probably the way it's going to go, but that does not give me a ton of confidence.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, you don't
know what else to do.
Yeah, there's no. That's the problem. And that's part. The biggest problem for the Preds is the goaltender situation. But then again, we come back to 2 forward spots in the top 6 where you're just like, it could be this guy or that guy. Or, I mean, you could go with a Cousins, but let's say, so if those 2 lines are exactly what we think, which is Forsberg, Granlund, Duchesne, and then, the Herd line is going to be the Herd line. I mean, I think that's going to be the case. So then, who's in for, like, is Olivier in, do you think? It's Olivier or Tolvanen, probably, right?
It probably is down between those two, but like, does this really scream Matthew Olivier series to you with Colorado? Like, it doesn't really scream that to me.
It screams to me, as frustrating as Tolvanen has been, and as tempting as I'm sure it might be to leave him out, it screams to me, anyone you have who might be able to, pick a corner and give you a goal here or there, play that guy. I mean, to me, I think you want to play your game. You want to be physical. You want to be the more physical team, but I would rather have someone with a chance to help you offensively, because I just don't see how you're winning this series if you aren't scoring 4 or 5 goals every time out.
Well, and the other part of that is, like, it's one thing too, if you think Tolvanen's a liability defensively. I don't think he really has been that this year. Now, I think some people have taken that too far, because, there's some people that think that, Tolvanen, while he's not scoring goals, is so good defensively that he needs to be nominated for the Selke Trophy or something like that. And I'm not going like that far with how much progress he's made in that area. Like, he's there to score goals. That is still his primary responsibility. But I will say, like, I've obviously been encouraged by his play away from the puck this year. It's just I've been way more discouraged by his play with the puck this year.
Right. Yeah. Again, like, good for him. For the thing is, like, there's other people in this lineup who, through defensive responsibility, physicality, and the way John Hines wants people to play, have found more offense. And I'm not saying this has cost him offense, but he lost it. He lost it this year. And we've talked about the shot. Like, I mean, it's almost like a pitcher who is coming back from Tommy John. It's like, oh, wow, that fastball now is topping out at 91. It used to be 98. Like, I don't know, but the shot doesn't look the same. But I think I'd be going with him. I mean, you could go with Luff too. You could have, I mean, I think your 4th line is going to be McCarron and probably Cousins, or for sure's, right? Yeah. And then I guess you could say it's technically a Olivier, Luff, or Tolvanen. I think I'm going Tolvanen, or I'm going Tolvanen somewhere in the lineup. I suppose you could put Tolvanen and Tomasino with Johansson and bring Cunnin down with McCarron.
Good. I mean, that's a way you could go. I don't know. They've tried it so much with Johansson this year. Like, I don't really mind Tomasino being with him, because Tomasino, he's a young player, and I think in this series his speed can be an asset for you. But just the other 2 guys, they're going to have to show you something that they've not shown all year. Like Cunnin and Tolvanen, they just haven't had it this year. And like we said, I mean, it's a new season now. It's a new opportunity for those guys to step up and make some plays. But I don't know how your confidence, if you're John Hines, could be very high in those 2 guys offensively right now. Devin from Dover on the text line says, Why not just put Jeannot with Johansson and Tomasino and Olivier with the Herd line, which that was the original Herd line anyway, was Olivier down there.
Yeah, Tyler also on the text line saying that, and I just don't think he's going to do that. Now, I think he's, now maybe things start going poorly right away, and who knows what kind of shaking up you could have, but I think it's pretty clear that he wants to keep the Herd line, this version of the Herd line, together. And Danny says how the season played out, the Herd line's closest thing we have to a second line. Well, that's true, for most of the season, but obviously, to me, with Johansson centering a line, that's a very important line. Yeah. However you want to label them.
And to that point, Joe, like some of this just may be on him. Like he's been more aggressive this year, I think, with his shot. Like to me, it may be time, if you're him, to adopt that mindset even more heading into the playoffs of, all right, well, if I'm not going to be with Forsberg and Duchesne, that's fine. And obviously he's still going to look to pass because I think that's his biggest strength. But I would not hate if we look at the box score tonight and Ryan Johansson's got 4 shots on goal and 7 shot attempts. Like, shoot the puck.
Yeah, no, for sure. And be in front of the net whenever you can be, because people can't move you, for sure. I mean, he's got to be a finisher at times in this series for them to have a chance. I mean, he's got to do it all. Those top guys have all got to be really good.
JD on the text line says the Preds are going to have their best quality defenseman to play in front of the goalie. I saw Alex Doherty tweet this out yesterday, and I'm kind of starting to agree with it. And we keep talking about, the goalie part of this and how you got to shut down Colorado's offense. This is really setting up for like a 2-1 slugfest final score tonight. Just the Predators playing well defensively, David Riddick playing well, and they're just a total shutdown playoff style game, and the Predators lose 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like whenever you think it's going to be one thing, the style of the game goes the other way. But I mean, playoff hockey anyway, right?
Yeah.
And playoff hockey seems to bring out the a little bit more responsibility, a little bit fewer chances taken, things like that. But it's still going to be 5-2 Avs.
We'll continue to take your thoughts. 615-737-1025. Speaking of the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, to celebrate summer concert season, get $25 all-in tickets to more than 50 shows in the Nashville area for 1 week only. Text the keyword summer to the game text line at 615-737-1025 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to a show of your choice at Ascend Amphitheater, Marathon Music Works, and other local venues. Artists to choose from include Train, Jack Johnson, Rod Stewart, and many more. The special offer runs May 4th through May 10th. Get more info at livenation.com/concert week. Coming up next, we'll look ahead and look back at A.J. Brown's comments yesterday at his introductory press conference in Philadelphia. That's next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The voice of reason.
If I'm the official, I would send both teams to the locker room and say, this is going to stop.
The voice of the fan.
Our entire team's a mash unit right now.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
People of Tennessee, Caesars Sportsbook is giving out first bet insurance for all new users, up to $1,100. Download the app and use promo code RADIOCZR and then place your first bet. If you win, congrats. But if not, you'll get your wager back as a free bet. Must be 21 and physically present in Tennessee. New users only. Bet amount of qualifying wager returned only if wager is settled as a loss. Paid as a single bet credit. Must be used within 14 days. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
You don't have just an ordinary mom in your life. She's the best. Her work never stops. Her sacrifices are many. Her love is unfailing. This Mother's Day, Genesis Diamonds invites you to join us in celebrating and appreciating the mothers in our lives. Stop in and let one of our trusted advisors help you find a special, meaningful gift. Layering necklaces, stackable rings, eternity bands, pearls, elegant diamond pendants, and of course, stunning diamond earrings. Great Mother's Day ideas for any budget. There's no doubt we love Mom, but sometimes a little extra appreciation goes a long way as a thank you for helping us through challenges, making sacrifices, and always putting the family first. So whether it's her first Mother's Day or her 60th, Mom deserves a gift that's anything but ordinary. And at Genesis, that's our specialty. Exquisite rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, heirloom pieces. Timeless gifts of jewelry that she can enjoy and cherish for decades to come, and always be reminded of how special she is to the family. Genesis Diamonds, online at genesisdiamonds.net.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Huckleberry Brewing is now open. Formerly Cool Springs Brewery. New owners, new look, fabulous menu, and same great location. So come on out and join us for a live remote on Tuesday, May 3rd with ESPN The Game, as we're proud to be an official Predators watch party destination. Come cheer on our Preds and enjoy one or all of our great craft beers. Our master brewer and friendly staff can't wait to see you. Bring the kids and let them enjoy our game room. Huckleberry Brewing is located at 600A Fraser Drive, next to Sperry's in Cool Springs.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? Quality oil like Mobil 1 Full Synthetic can help you get more out of every mile. Got an older vehicle? Try Mobil 1 Full Synthetic High Mileage. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $37.99. Get what you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,000 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
It's Robby and Rexrode with Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in hour number 2 of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Tuesday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Taking your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. We got the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up at 7:45. John Glennon from SI.com and NHL.com joining us at 8 o'clock. We'll get his thoughts on the Titans and the Predators as they look ahead to game 1 of the playoffs tonight against the Colorado Avalanche. Charles Robinson at 9 o'clock, Chris Mason at 9:30 today here on the program. And Joe, A.J. Brown's introductory press conference yesterday with the Philadelphia Eagles. We talked about that to end the show yesterday. Was very interested to see what A.J. would say. And that took place around 3:30 yesterday Central Time with A.J. Brown speaking to the Philadelphia media. A couple of different things to kind of sift through here. Obviously, he talked about his time with the Titans and said that there was no bad blood with the Titans. They believed in him. They drafted him at that point, but did talk about the trade part of this. And apparently, according to A.J. Brown, knew that the trade could be a possibility around 1 o'clock on the Thursday that he was traded. Said it was mixed emotions, went and worked out really hard, and it was just kind of some ups and downs. And at one point was asked about whether or not he requested a trade, and AJ kind of smiled and just said, now are you moving forward? Don't want to look back. So a lot of Titans fans took that as, well, yep, he requested a trade from the Titans at that point. What did you make of AJ Brown and his comments yesterday in his introductory press conference with the Philadelphia media?
Well, a lot of Titans fans, if he would have said, hello, everybody, good to be here. I requested a trade. I see. They were looking for the confirmation, but I do love the answer from him. I'm looking for, I'm not looking backward. I'm looking forward, and I got to remember this. It's like the kids ask me, Dad, did you go to class every day in college? I'm looking forward. I'm not looking backward.
That's right.
Did you party too much when you were younger? I'm looking forward. I'm not looking backward. Did you date anyone before Mom? I'm looking forward. Okay. I'm not looking backward. Did you eat all your vegetables like you try to make me do? Et cetera, et cetera. It's a great answer, a catch-all answer in life, but I did not. Well, let's say he didn't request a trade. Okay. If he gets that question, is he going to say, no, I did not? And let me tell you about this. I mean, he was not going to get into it anyway. There was nothing to me. There was nothing all that notable about the press conference. Thank the Titans for all their stuff. There was a lot of talk about him and Jalen Hurts and how they're close and everything. But again, I mean, Jalen Hurts isn't engineering the trade. You could look at this, and I think a lot of people will. And I think there's some truth to it. Like, here's another example of maybe, player controlled moves, like the NBA sort of like dictating, okay, I'm going to go here. But that still comes down to the Titans deciding that it's in their best interest to move him. I mean, they don't have to do this. They didn't have to do this. And I'm still waiting to see what Mr. did request a trade openly in San Francisco, where he's going to be next year. Right now, he's still a San Francisco 49er. And we'll see where that goes. That may change. But there was, clearly close relationship with Brown and Hurts, but there's a lot of guys in this league who are friends who don't play together. So, I mean, I thought he was fine. He was respectful toward the Titans, thanked them for drafting him and everything. And, it was I got to save some of what I want to say for my Rex rant on this.
Okay.
So, I'm trying to be very careful with my words. No spoilers. What'd you think?
Look, I think it's pretty clear that he requested a trade from the Titans. I guess I agree to a point that if he didn't, is he really going to talk about it all that much now that the trade's finalized? Probably not. But I think, we have seen players before asked if they wanted out of a certain place, and they've said, no, I didn't want out, but they decided to move on, and it's business. And now we're here, and I'm ready to look forward now. But I mean, to me, I did take those comments yesterday, or I guess the lack of comments, that yes, he requested out at one point. Now, is that purely a negotiation tactic? Did he actually want out and was going to do everything he can to get out? I mean, I know there's been some reporting out there that it makes it seem like A.J. Brown wanted to be elsewhere with the Titans. And, if you believe the Titans and the $80 million guaranteed, and now you take a $57 million guaranteed from Philadelphia, I mean, it's a pretty big difference in terms of what you're asking for. So I think it leaves a lot of Titans fans asking the question of, why were you asking for so much with the Titans if what they put out there is true? And then you took, almost $23 million less of guaranteed money with Philadelphia. Like, what happened on that front? So it does kind of leave me shaking my head and wondering, did A.J. Brown want to get out of there the whole time?
Yeah. And look, I have no reason to believe there's no way he requested a trade. I mean, the asking for something ridiculous, this does happen. Okay. Again,
it does. But again, if he's asking for that much, and I get why he'd be asking for that much, again, it's a negotiation tactic. But if you're asking for $80 million guaranteed, why are you all of a sudden so gung-ho to take $57 million guaranteed?
Well, I guess my answer would be because that's about where you should be, that's about where the Titans should have been with him. I mean, it's a ridiculous $80 million guaranteed is way overboard. But again, he told Tehran that they said 16 and up to guarantees of 20 when Kirk got 18. So that's also ridiculous. But again, that's, to me, it's like, okay, then you go down the road and eventually you find a middle ground. Someone's requesting a trade. Someone's mad. They're not talking. You don't have to trade them. You did, and so now it's, this is one of those things where when someone departs, it's like a different situation, not the same level, but Corey Davis, people really wanted the Titans to keep Corey Davis, and it's like, he wasn't that good anyway. A blocker, get out of here. People really wanted to keep Jonnu Smith. What do you have? One good year.
We knew how important Corey Davis's blocking was long before he was moved on from here in Nashville this year.
Right. So now A.J. Brown, I mean, it's a lot easier to talk yourself into. He hated the Titans. He wanted to get out of Nashville. He was going to be a nightmare. He was going to hold out and never going to play it down. And it's just the Titans are better off. It's much easier to talk yourself into that. I don't know where this is going to go. I know that that nothing that happened forced the Titans to do this. They made the choice, and yes, they made the choice at a time when you could actually get something back, which I understand. But A.J. Brown's time in Tennessee, take it apart from the contract situation. Everything I know, observed, talked to, he loved it here, loved his teammates, was great in the locker room, really close with Vrabel. I mean, I think he's talked about Vrabel and what he did for him when he had struggles. So, it's purely the contract situation. And look, contract situation can be enough. Obviously, it was enough here. But this is where you're going to get into, again, it's people want to bleed this into like locker room issue and stuff like that, which is very annoying. But you know what? A.J. Brown's in Philly now. So, I mean, you can just launch shots at him from afar and then watch him next year when he has 1,500 yards for the Eagles.
If Jalen Hurts could throw for 1,500 yards, we'll see. LD from McMinnville on the text line.
Just get it to him quick.
Just get it to him. Oh, he could do that. LD from McMinnville says, Brown saying he wasn't a regular season guy was interesting. The Titans do enjoy pumping their regular season success. This is coming from LD from McMinnville on the text line. Yeah, a lot of Titans fans took that as like a flex on the Titans. I don't know if I really took it that way. I think it just, I guess, was his way of saying he wants to win in the playoffs. But what did you think of those comments from A.J. Brown saying he wasn't a regular season guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think I took it more as like, I'm going to be a big game player. One thing he didn't say was I was wide open against the Ravens and Ryan didn't see me. Ryan, he didn't say that. And, again, he didn't rip Tannehill for his 3 picks in the last game, but that's, I mean, that comes to mind too. Yeah. But I don't know. I didn't necessarily take that as like a rip on the Titans, but there's another thing. Everything he says, you could probably find a way to make it into that.
We'll continue to take your thoughts on the Titans. 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. We'll look at this Titans offense in the aftermath of the A.J. Brown move. What do we like? What do we not like about this Titans offense as they prepare for the 2022 NFL season? We'll get into that coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Do you have that one person or thing that just makes you mad? Join us every Friday at noon on the DDC for You Just Made the List. Fueled by Parman Energy. Visit ParmanEnergy.com, your one-stop petroleum solution, and try Star Movie on the DDC on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
You just made the list!
Discover matches all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year. Automatically. Discover. Something brighter. Learn more at discover.com/match.
The versatile Kubota B-Series is a do-it-all tractor, part of our under 100 horsepower tractor lineup rated #1 for reliability. You can run powerful attachments that can be easily switched out. The Kubota B-Series. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Tour of the year. Megadeth, Lamb of God, with special guests, Trivium and In Flames. This Friday, Bridgestone Arena. 4 of metal's biggest artists share the stage for one epic night. This is a buck-up. On sale now. Buy tickets at livenation.com. Megadeth, Lamb of God, with special guests, Trivium and In Flames.
Bring your hive together with Spirited Hive. It's Hive O'Clock. What is Hive O'Clock? It's connecting or celebrating with your hive, a time to be present and create shared memories. At Spirited Hive, we become aficionados discerning what goes best with bourbon, tequila, and vodka in a canned cocktail. Bourbon whiskey with rosemary infused with honey and lemon, tequila ginger infused with honey and lime, or vodka cranberry infused with honey and lime. Available to purchase on reservebar.com or tap room for delivery within the hour. Join us at Spirited Hive on Instagram to see what the buzz is all about.
If you snore, it may be a sign of a more serious, possibly life-threatening condition. Most people think of snoring as a nuisance, but it's a much more serious medical condition than you think. Snoring has been associated with chest pain, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, chronic pain, obesity, headaches, and sore throat. Take a listen to what some of our patients are saying about the revolutionary Vivo system.
Right after I started using it, I noticed the results really, especially with the snoring. My sleep apnea episodes are a fraction of what they were before. This product's phenomenal. It changed my life.
I am 100% happy that I did this, and I'm thankful every day that I have it.
If you're curious about our sleep devices, call now for a sleep consultation. Don't let your spouse have to sleep in the guest room, and don't risk the severe health complications of snoring and sleep apnea.
Dr. Kelly Rice is certified to provide the Vivo system to open the airway for a better night's sleep. Call 615-373-4488 or go to BrentwoodSleepApnea.com to see which therapy can work best for you.
Individual results may vary. Always seek the advice of your health provider with any questions regarding a medical condition.
Jose, how much longer till this dough's ready?
No one can bake gluten-free vegan goodies better than Surrey.
Wait, both Jim and Marion's last days are the same day?
But he needs to whip up a new shift lead without interviews burning his time.
Gotta get interviewing before my calendar is cooked. Oh, can you stop?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard, so you can stay organized and connected all the way to the hire. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, Discover here to explain our cash back match. Here's how it works. We give you cash back for using your Discover card on the things you were going to buy anyway. Then we match that cash back in your first year. And that's why we call it Cashback Match. Now to recap and say cashback one more time. We match all the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year automatically. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Robby and Rexrode on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode. You're on ESPN 1025 The Game, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio here with you on this Tuesday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. I got some tickets to give away, a family 4-pack of tickets to the Franklin Rodeo at the Williamson County Ag Expo Park, coming up on Thursday, May 19th. Be caller number 3, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Caller number 3 will win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Franklin Rodeo at the Williamson County Ag Expo Park, coming up on Thursday, May 19th. 615-737-1025. Talking Titans, taking your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Caleb in Gallatin texting in says, do you think the Titans will try to get another receiver from free agency, or do you think they roll with what they've got? This coming from Caleb from Gallatin on the text line. So, Joe, you look at the receiving core right now. You've got Treylon Burks. You've got Robert Woods. You've got Nick Westbrook-Akina, obviously. I mean, you've got, a bunch of different guys you could pick from in terms of, is Cam Batson going to be a part of things next year? I mean, there's different ways that you can go with it here, but what do you think? Do you think the Titans are done at wide receiver with some moves they make, or could they look at some free agents that are still out there? Maybe a guy like a Jarvis Landry who's still out there.
Yeah. See, I mean, and without knowing exactly where they are, you remember, with your cap number, you do have to stay under the cap. There are ways to do that. There are ways to manipulate it and redo contracts, but you got to sign all these guys in the draft class. I would be surprised if they would go out there and sign someone who would be a significant cap hit. Jarvis Landry, like what is Jarvis Landry?
Apparently he doesn't like Ryan Tannehill anyway, so that's probably not going to happen.
There's that too. That came out after Tannehill was gone. But I mean, it's like, how do people view Jarvis Landry now? I mean, he still wasn't too long ago. He was a very productive receiver, but those things can go quickly, as we have seen with Julio Jones up close here in Nashville. I mean, I could see some kind of a signing, but you did draft. If Kyle Phillips is going to work out, I feel good about him in the slot. That would help a lot. Obviously, Burks, Woods. How quickly is Woods going to be ready right from the start? I mean, you certainly know that Westbrook-Akina can go out there and do the job and play any position and be solid. So you feel fine about that. It's just I would say it's not a bad idea to go get an experienced receiver. There's just no one that jumps out at me as a great option right now out on the market. There's also some offensive linemen out there that I think the Titans should think about, adding another veteran if you can make it work. Dennis Kelly being one of them, perhaps.
Yeah. Ron on the text line says, in your opinion, who won the draft in the AFC South and who will win the AFC South after the draft on paper? This is coming from Ron on the text line. So we know we talked about the Titans draft class yesterday. You know, you look at the Colts, obviously they didn't have a first round pick, but they got Alec Pierce from Cincinnati in the second round, 53rd overall. Jelani Woods, who I think, Joe, both you and I were very high on at tight end in the third round at 73rd overall. And they got an offensive tackle from Central Michigan in the third round as well. So
who some people thought was a first rounder.
Somebody thought was a first rounder. That's no question about it. So 2 tight ends in the draft. They also took Ogletree out of Youngstown State in the 6th round. So what did you think of Indy's draft there? And obviously not having a first round pick hurts that to some degree, but I like Alec Pierce. I like Jelani Woods. I think those are some guys that can come in and can help Matt Ryan right away.
Yeah, no, I think that I think the Colts did well. Alec Pierce is a good player, absolutely. And Jelani Woods, I mean, those guys are going to be, I think good weapons for them. So I think they did well. You know, again with the Titans, I mean, I think the Titans' choices were good. It's just that can you judge the Titans draft? Like, you can't judge it separate from trading AJ Brown, right? So
I don't think so.
I mean, you know. Like if you just judge like the players they picked, I like Traylon Burks, but I'd say that to me the Colts are the favorite. I mean, I said that first thing Friday, I guess, but the Colts are the favorite to me at this point because the Titans' offense I just don't think enough was done. Things could work out. Derrick Henry has to be great. Traylon Burks is just going to be asked to do so much early and often from the start. I definitely like the tight end situation better. I don't feel as good about the offensive line situation as I thought I might after the draft. And look, if Petit Frere comes in and he's great, then okay. Well, then that's basically the opposite of what happened with the last 2 offensive tackles, both of whom were drafted higher than him. But how can you feel confident in that and him coming in and just being ready, snap of the finger, you know, and who's playing left guard? So I think the Colts are my slight favorite. Now I think it's going to be a good race. I think both teams are good. I think both teams are going to be absolutely in the mix, to make the playoffs, but that's how I would pick it. And I'll be honest with you, a team that I think, if you want to talk about the AFC South, who won the draft. So Stingley to Houston.
Yeah.
Kenyon Green, I like getting Mechie in the 2nd.
Yep.
I like getting Christian Harris in the 3rd, So I think the Texans had a really nice draft. They definitely helped themselves. I mean, they've got a long way to go. The Jags, I think most people look at a lot of people looking at the Walker pick is like, that's a mistake. I mean, we'll see. I think he could be great. I mean, I think he could be a great player. The rest of, the Jags draft, I don't know. I mean, Devin Lloyd is a good player for sure. Devin Lloyd, they needed a linebacker. They got him. They got a center from Kentucky, Fortner. I don't know. I mean, they decided to add to Trevor Lawrence's arsenal by overpaying veterans rather than drafting from a fantastic draft class of receivers.
Well, they changed the culture with Doug Peterson coming in there, and he's ready to ready to coach these guys up. And I agree. Like, I don't think it's a stretch to say the Texans had a very good draft. I think they did a very good job there.
Yes.
Is there anything else that I could bring out there in this segment?
I think you've done quite well. Thank you.
Doug on the text line says, but you didn't draft a quote punt god like my Bills did. This coming from Doug on the text line. There was some interesting, pretty good draft for the punters and kickers, I must say.
My last mock, I said Titans get Cade York in the 5th. Where did the Browns get? The Browns get him in the 4th?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shoot, man, what are you going to do? But Cade York, man, the Cleveland Browns have solved their kicking. Yeah. The 4th round, Cade York went high, man.
Congratulations, Cade. You get to go kick in that lake effect of Lake Erie right next to you. Be fun.
Yeah, that's true. I guess if you're a kicker, it's like, man, you were kicking at LSU. You at least were hoping to go to a dome team, right? or some good weather, and instead you get the Brownies.
So as we sit here and look at the Titans offense, obviously there's a gigantic hole with no A.J. Brown. You've got Henry coming back, a guy that we didn't talk a lot about yesterday, Haskins, the running back out of Michigan. I mean, I'm interested to see where he fits in now. You've already brought Hilliard back, but is Haskins going to be the number 2? Is Hilliard the third down back exclusively? Like, what do you do with that if you're the Titans? That's an interesting pick. We knew that they could take a running back at some point there, but you've got, obviously Austin Hooper now at tight end. You've got Treylon Burks is going to be, I would assume, either your number 1 or your number 2, probably your number 2 this year behind Robert Woods. What do you think of the Titans offense right now as it stands without A.J. Brown? Because, Joe, I still think there's a potential. I mean, if Derrick Henry's back to full streak Derrick Henry, if Treylon Burks comes in and is good right away, I think there's a potential for this offense to be pretty good. But that seems like a whole lot of things that are having to go right if you're Ryan Tannehill in this Titans offense too.
Yeah, well, it still starts with the quarterback. Is he going to be great? Again, my question, if you tell me that the offensive line performance this year is going to be better than last year, and in particular in pass protection, okay, well then I see a path to Ryan Tannehill being better. Again, I like the tight ends. It's just, think about what you just said. Yeah, they have a chance to be pretty good. A year ago, it was like, it wasn't a year ago. It was when they drafted or when they traded for Julio. It was like, yeah, who's going to touch this freaking offense? But again, it's kind of the folly of all of this, because we were also saying at the time, is their defense going to be terrible again? And now we're like, whoa, how elite is their defense going to be? I mean,
the 2000 Ravens, get out of the way. Here come the Titans next year.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, in both cases, there's still a lot of variables, that we just don't know. I just worry about the offensive line, and the receiver situation it's just, you're asking so much of Burks. I think Treylon Burks has a chance to be a very good player in the NFL. To think he'll ever be as good as A.J. Brown, I think you're putting too much on him. And to think this year that he's going to come close to giving you what he gave you, I think that's really a stretch, to use your favorite term. But I like Woods a lot. And I do think that the tight end situation, that's the one area where I'm like, okay, they definitely helped Tannehill there. I mean, Hooper, and we'll see, it's a rookie. So you don't want to, Jonnu Smith early in his career, he struggled to get on the field. Let's remember that. Eventually it was like, holy cow, this guy is a load. So with Conquo, you gotta have some patience there too. But I think Hooper could end up being a really trusted target for Tannehill. He's got to be. That's something that has to happen. And then the offensive line, you got to have a couple guys who emerge and step up and play beyond either their age or their previous performance, to me, to have any chance of being better there.
We'll take your thoughts on the Titans offense. How do you feel about the offense in the aftermath of the A.J. Brown trade to Philadelphia? 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025, The Game.
The NFL draft is in the books, and the Tennessee Titans were busy.
Tennessee Titans select Treylon Burks,
Raja McQuarrie, adding many key pieces to Mike Vrabel's squad.
Nicholas Petit-Ferrer, Malik Willis.
What impact will the players have for the two-tone blue?
Regardless of who he is, he's got to fit the identity of your team.
The Titans are going to play football in September.
Keep it locked to Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Unlimited audio streaming is yours with Audible Plus. Enjoy thousands of select Audible originals, audiobooks, podcasts, and more. Sign up for a free Audible Plus trial at audible.com.
Realizing Geico is your one-stop shop for all your insurance needs is like realizing you can just toss the whole measuring cup into the washer, so it won't get gunked up with laundry detergent.
I guess it doesn't work for coffee mugs, huh?
It's something that's been right in front of you this whole time, like how Geico offers 24/7 emergency roadside service to help you when you need it most. Or how athletic wristbands aren't for your wrists, they're for wiping sweat off your forehead.
Great. So, what are headbands for?
80s night at the dance club, woo!
It's something you can't believe you never realized before, like how Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance, with even more ways to save when you add boat, motorcycle, and RV insurance, or how a pony is its own animal and not just a baby horse.
So, what's a baby pony called?
Getting more ways to save. It's just one of the many reasons to switch to Geico. They're all right there in front of you.
Out on the trail today, I noticed the signs of spring. A purple lilac, a monarch butterfly, crisp, cool air, and fresh, bright sunshine. And all this beauty puts me in the mood to head over to my favorite adult beverage depot, Red Spirits and Wine, where I can load up the wagon with the best wines, whiskey, and brews to wet my whistle. At Red, you'll always find the best selection and value, but their Cracker Jack crew is flat out second to none. Just square-dealing folks and straight shooters with great recommendations, and they never come off like some of those big-talking fancy pantsers that are just totally full of, well, let's just say fertilizer. Red Spirits and Wine is the only place I do my trading, and once you've seen Red, there just ain't no sense in looking elsewhere. It's like British pop singer Billy Ocean once said, no more love on the run. Red Spirits and Wine is the real deal. Open 7 days a week at Highway 70 South and Old Hickory Boulevard. And follow Red on Facebook and Instagram as well. We'll see you at Red.
We've all heard the saying that a little can go a long way. This is especially true during the Big Paybacks 24-hour online giving event, helping support hundreds of local nonprofit organizations. From 6 p.m. on May 4th through 6 p.m. on May 5th, a gift as little as $10 could be boosted by cash prizes and help to make a big difference in the life-changing work of local nonprofits. Find out more at thebigpayback.org.
Nashville Sounds baseball season is underway, and if you haven't been to Third and Home on game day, you're missing out. Third and Home is the newest sports bar in Germantown that overlooks the Nashville Sounds ballpark. From the bar's spacious beer patio, you can literally see the whole Sounds game as if you were sitting in the seats with a ticket. No wonder it's known as Germantown's bar with a ballpark. Head to 3rd Avenue North and check it out for lunch, a night of brews, or to catch a game. Third and Home is open Tuesday through Sunday, and you can even watch batting practice on the patio. For more, visit thirdandhome.com.
Huckleberry Brewing is now open. Formerly Cool Springs Brewery. New owners, new look, fabulous menu, and same great location. So come on out and join us for a live remote on Tuesday, May 3rd with ESPN The Game, as we're proud to be an official Predators watch party destination. Come cheer on our Preds and enjoy one or all of our great craft beers. Our master brewer and friendly staff can't wait to see you. Bring the kids and let them enjoy our game room. Huckleberry Brewing is located at 600A Fraser Drive, next to Sperry's in Cool Springs.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck on Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
Join 1025 The Game and the Preds Energy Team this Thursday night to root on the Preds as they take on the Colorado Avalanche in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs at Headquarters Beercade for the Preds Bud Light Watch Party. Come enjoy great drink specials, including $6 select cans and a $10 Preds cocktail, and enter to win tickets to the Round 1 Game 3 game on Saturday at Bridgestone Arena. It's the Preds Bud Light Watch Party at Headquarters Beercade, located at 114 2nd Avenue South downtown. The puck drops at 8:30 coming up on Thursday night in Game 2. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezevich here with you, taking your thoughts on the Titans on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Jason from Mount Juliet texting in said, I'd feel better about the offense if the second-round pick was a tight end like McBride or an offensive line pick. The corner pick is a little confusing unless it's an insurance policy against Farley. A second rounder should be a starter, and if Farley is good to go, I don't know where he fits. This coming from Jason from Mount Juliet.
Yeah, well, and we talked about McCurry yesterday. I mean, my first thought was, wow, a corner there, huh? I like the player. By the way, I never got to this on the text line, but someone yesterday on the text line, I apologize for forgetting who, was like, you guys are missing the fact that McCreary is a man, slot corner. That's not true. He actually played. Now he played basically exclusively outside.
Yeah.
In college, of course, Derek Mason was his D coordinator last year. Now that doesn't mean he couldn't be a slot. He was sold as a versatile guy who could go in there and do it. But he's like, I think the implication was like this is more of a comment on Molden than Farley, and I don't agree with that. I mean, look, it's an ad of a really good player. Sorry, buttons struggle. I struggle with the buttons. It's an ad of a really good player. It could be a comment on Farley, but I would agree that I thought at that point offense might be the move. Now I would disagree on McBride. You don't take him that high. The tight end group, like you still have to go by, your board and your best available over need, to a certain extent. But yeah, I think that, I think offensively, you're really going to need, again, some people to elevate beyond what their timeline should be because of their youth. Or, I mean, I still think a huge key here is just Dylan Radins. I think people are going to want to cast him aside and say, Petit Frere, you the guy, get in there. Well, let's see when they're on the field. Has Dylan Radins improved? Is he going to come close to validating being picked in the second round last year? I don't look at that pick as like the absolute comment that he's not, or that he's going to be a left guard or whatever. I think it's going to be competition. You want as much depth as you can at all these positions. You want competition. You want that competition to create better play. By the way, Ryan Tannehill now has Malik Willis behind him. Is that going to motivate Ryan Tannehill?
Oh boy.
Oh, I bet you. I know somebody who thinks that. That's going to motivate Ryan Tannehill to finally get going and stop throwing those picks.
One-armed push-ups, guys. One-armed push-ups.
That's exactly right. If he had Malik Willis behind him in the playoff game, he wouldn't throw in those picks. He was just comfortable and just casual, just chilling out, knowing he had the job. And now got competition behind him. So, no, those picks are done.
Tannehill saw that Malik Willis got drafted, and he started reeling in that line.
Don't gas it up. I'm going to drag this boat in to shore by myself. That'll be a hell of a workout. Now, Malik isn't doing that right now.
Ben on the text line says, a part of AJ being traded, it might be a hidden benefit. It might make Tannehill not feel as comfortable throwing into coverage. Maybe he'll do it less, and that alone could equal a playoff win with our defense. Get back to throwing 10 or less picks a year. I mean,
wait a minute. Are you making this up?
That's what he said.
I was just making that joke. Are you actually seriously saying that?
That's what he said on the text line.
I love you, Ben. Thank you, Ben. Thank you so much.
I mean, I don't know if the problem was as much throwing into coverage last year as it was, oh, hey, there's the linebacker. Let's hit him in stride. Like he wasn't even in coverage on some plays. He's just like, oh, right. You just hit him right in stride.
Tannehill's back in the pocket. I was thinking about the beach, man, because this is my job and I'm comfortable. So throw it wherever.
Garrett from Dixon on the text line says, for Rexrode to think that the Titans offense is just going to implode because they traded AJ is ridiculous. Burks only has to average 65 yards a game to have 1,100 yards receiving, which is something AJ couldn't do. This coming from Garrett on the text line.
You got it figured out, Garrett. Woo! Hey. Thank goodness got rid of AJ Brown. I tell you what, finally, the Titans have finally found the formula. Woo! Get out of here, AJ. Oh, hey, Burks, all you got to do, buddy, 65 yards a game. No problem. Come on in. Piece of cake. Garrett from Dixon's got it figured out.
I can't wait until Traylon Burks has 1,400 yards this year. It's going to be awesome.
Garrett, I want you to text in and dunk on me if that happens, Garrett from Dixon.
Big E on the text line says, if the offensive line is at least solid, and if number 22 is back to being number 22 after the injury, and Tannehill doesn't throw 20 picks, the Titans will be fine on offense. This coming from Big E. It's a lot of ifs.
That is some ifs. But, I mean, Derrick Henry, it's like the whole offseason. We've talked about nothing but Tannehill.
I know.
And we don't talk about Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, Well, that's the thing. If he is great, okay, well, what does that mean? Probably means good things, right? Yeah. If he's not great, then you could really see it going the other way if he starts going the other way. But the first thing you said, Big E, is that to me is the key, and it's because I'm going to presume Derrick Henry's still going to be really good. You know, I'm going to presume that Tannehill's going to respond, you know, and do and elevate himself in every way he can. But your first is if the O-line is at least solid. Okay, Taylor Lewan coming back, not coming off an ACL, full off season of work. That bodes well. Ben Jones being re-signed, that's a good thing. He's getting older. He's hurt a lot, but he's still really important. Nate Davis, can he play? I mean, if you took Lewan and Davis end of season versus early season, okay, if you get the late season Lewan and Davis, that's good. And then two spots that I just don't know. Is it Jamarco Jones? He's been kind of a journeyman, talented guy. Aaron Brewer has done a nice job in a pinch. Can he be a starter? What the heck is Dylan Radins? What the heck is Petit Frere as a rookie? It's just, these are a lot of questions. And if they don't get answered the way you hope they get answered, I think you start there with issues for this offense. And how are you going to get better when you take, if you're not good there and you take AJ Brown out of the mix? With Garrett from Dixon, hey, thank you for doing the math. But I mean, some of these people commenting on this, I'm like, did you actually watch AJ Brown play football in the last 3 years?
Got a texter that says Rexrode seems to take things a lot more personal the past couple weeks than he has in the past. What's up, dude?
Shut up. You shut up. I don't. Well, I think I've always been a sensitive little whiny crybaby. What are you talking about? Maybe you just haven't noticed. No, well, the AJ Brown thing bothers me. It does. I don't like the move, and I will raise my hand if I'm wrong. But beyond that, I really hate. And this goes way back, and even coaching changes. Like I've seen this on a college beat forever. You know, like the old coach leaves, and then the fan base is like, "Oh, that coach sucked. Oh, thank goodness." You know, like you just have this. Of course, you want to believe that the person who just left was actually overrated, not that good, and that the new person coming in is the answer to everything. I mean, Tennessee football fans, can you relate a little bit to this? So that's just a pet peeve of mine.
Wow, that was a shot. Mark from Clarksville on the text line says, "Gotta love the optimistic people who think it's easy to get 1,100 yards from a rookie. I wonder how they'll feel when he only has 600 and the Titans offense takes a step back with Tannehill throwing more picks." This is coming from Mark from Clarksville on the text line.
Well, it's good to have a little balancing out there. Thank you, Mark. Frank says, Joe, you could have offset all this stress about the Titans and Preds if you had made the Toto Journey concert. Toto absolutely killed it.
Maybe so. Mike on the text line says,
awesome.
I've noticed it too. Joe gets a little bit more sarcastic when someone makes a point. This is coming from Mike on the text line. Joe, why are you being so crotchety as of late?
Well, hey, guess what's coming up, folks? Next, the Rex Rant.
That's right. We can get more of this on the other side with Rexrode's rant of the day. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode. You're on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Let's put the green flag in the air and turn them loose.
Nashville's home for NASCAR.
He's going to try to make a big move here.
It's brought to you by the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. We are your racing station.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Warm start this morning. It's going to be a little muggy today. Highs will head to the middle 80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms roll through this afternoon and evening.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Gary Ashton here. I love hearing people say, don't sell without the intel, because it means they're really embracing our message. Now's a great time to sell your home in Nashville, but you need the intel only the Gary Ashton team can provide. Intel that helps you sell your home without any staging or showings. Intel to find your next home so you can sell your current one while the market's hot. Intel to win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity now. Let everyone else get the same information and compete for the same properties, while you get the intel edge with the Gary Ashton team, the official real estate team for your Tennessee Titans. And if you're looking for a great career, join our team. We added 65 new agents last year, and we want you to join us this year. Remember, don't sell without the intel. And if you're looking for a great career, the Gary Ashton team wants you in 2022. Call 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com today.
It's not too late. Make this the best Mother's Day yet with the perfect gift from Electronic Express. Great deals on top brands like Samsung, LG, Whirlpool, Sony, Cuisinart, Dyson, and more. We've also got huge savings in every department. Computers, 4K TVs, appliances, housewares, furniture, and more. Save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Shop in-store or online with free express delivery on most items. Shop spring savings at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
You don't have just an ordinary mom in your life. She's the best. Her work never stops. Her sacrifices are many. Her love is unfailing. This Mother's Day, Genesis Diamonds invites you to join us in celebrating and appreciating the mothers in our lives. Stop in and let one of our trusted advisors help you find a special, meaningful gift. Layering necklaces, stackable rings, eternity bands, pearls, elegant diamond pendants, and of course, stunning diamond earrings. Great Mother's Day ideas for any budget. There's no doubt we love Mom, but sometimes a little extra appreciation goes a long way as a thank you for helping us through challenges, making sacrifices, and always putting the family first. So whether it's her first Mother's Day or her 60th, Mom deserves a gift that's anything but ordinary. And at Genesis, that's our specialty. Exquisite rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, heirloom pieces. Timeless gifts of jewelry that she can enjoy and cherish for decades to come, and always be reminded of how special she is to the family. Genesis Diamonds, online at genesisdiamonds.net.
Winter's a bad time for your furnace to go out, but it's never a bad time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Darren McFarland.
He's cool. He's got a personality, and they make fun of him.
Willie Donick.
Would this be a fun guy to come to work and hang around with all day?
Chase McCabe.
They're just like, hey, we need you to play yourself.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The time is now for the Rex Rant.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
On Robby and Rexrode, here on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
And it is that time of the day here on Robby and Rexrode. Time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. Rexrode's rant of the day. Although if you ask our text line right now, I guess Rexrode's just been ranting every moment of every day for the last couple of weeks. I didn't
realize I'd become such a jerk.
Got a texter that says weekly Rex rant equals normal Rexrode. Daily Rex rant equals grumpy Rexrode. It's coming from a texter on the text line. Maybe that's it.
Is that what's happening? The daily Rex rants are turning me into a Rex rant?
Maybe so.
A walking Rex rant?
Yeah. Could be what's going on here.
Well, look, I'll try to be nicer after this segment, okay?
Okay.
So AJ Brown's press conference was of high interest yesterday around here. And a lot of people wanted to know what he was going to say. But, I was interested in the questions. So I'm going to go through the first.
I know where this is going.
I'm going to go through the first 3 questions, okay? From the Philadelphia media to AJ Brown. 1, can you talk about the emotions you went through with the trade? 2, you're friends with Jalen Hurts. Can you tell us how that started? So basically, can you talk about that? And 3, how can a quarterback and receiver with great chemistry help team chemistry? Because chemistry is such a big part of winning. And then on and on it went. It was a fine press conference. He got asked the questions that you should ask, including, did you request a trade? But this again brought up one of my favorite false sports media narratives. So let me go to a tweet battle and a text from my favorite afternoon host. I really appreciate you, Jared. Jared is helping me out a lot this week with my rants. I mentioned this yesterday, this just hilarious idea that like, you know, in Philly or in New York or Boston, like it's like this totally different thing when, you know, like athletes are in front of the media, you know, like it's just, I mean, it's like it's people are just screaming at them and grabbing them, like, you give me the answers now, you know. It's just it's amazing how people look at this. I mentioned this yesterday, and so Jared comes at me and said, "Have you ever listened to Philly radio? You know, Philly is next level." And I'm like, "No, but that's not what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm talking about people who interact with the player, with the athletes and the coaches. That's to me a press corps. I have no doubt that there's 8 Jareds in Philly. Okay, I mean, like." I have no doubt that there are people screaming this and that, but most of them don't show up. And again, I'll say this every time. To Jared's credit, he shows up, and that is a huge, huge deal. And I got friends in Michigan who fire left and right and say whatever they want, and they don't show up. They're not accountable to the people they're ripping. I don't care about the people who aren't accountable to the people they're ripping. They don't count to me. I mean, if you're someone in those markets, an athlete or a coach, and you just have someone just screaming about you, you don't have to listen to it. You don't have to interact with that person. Okay. So I'm talking about people in the press corps. So Sam Smith on Twitter says, going from getting questions from the Nashville media to the Philly media is like going from single A to the major league. That guy's going to get eaten alive. Like, really? Tell me, like, you know, do they take like the spotlight and turn it on his face? You know, I mean, so he drops here he goes. AJ Brown drops. So this is again Sam Smith, which is like Sam Smith 88258255. Okay, AJ Brown drops the ball on third down in week 4. Nashville media isn't going to hit him hard in the post game. Philly media will kill him if he gets hurt, misses 2 weeks in the middle of the year. Nashville media, no big deal. Philly media, kill him. Okay, what do they do? Because the questions get asked. He got asked about dropping passes here, and he got mad a couple times. By the way. He got asked about his injuries. I mean, no one really asked him about Chipotle. He kind of volunteered that. Yeah. But what are the questions? The answer is the questions are exactly the same. They are the same questions. You may have more people who are a little bit confrontation with their questions. You have more people. When you have a much bigger press corps, then you probably have more people who try to distinguish themselves here and there in different ways. It is fundamentally the exact same experience. Now, the fans, are they going to boo quicker in Philly? Yes. I have no doubt about that. But the idea that like these press conferences are any different than they are here, it's just harder to get a question in. And I think some of this is also kind of goes along with like the player or athlete who just left your team. Like, you want to believe they stunk and they were hurt, they didn't produce. You also want to believe it's going to be very difficult for them in their next spot.
Honestly,
it's not how it is.
Well, honestly, when I first started thinking about the AJ Brown side of this going to Philly, the media is not the first thing that came to mind. It was social media and the fans, because I talked about this yesterday. Like, if you're AJ Brown and you're all worked up about what people are saying about you on social media anyway, and that was here in Nashville with the Titans, you're going to a fan base that, and this is not a shot at the Titans fan base, because I think it's a great fan base, but the simple fact of the matter is there are just more Philadelphia Eagles fans than there are Tennessee Titans fans. And now that you've got a gigantic contract to go along with it, which you didn't have here in Nashville, if you start to struggle and you have a bad game or a bad series or whatever, and you're that worried about what people are saying about you, good luck with that in Philly. I didn't think about the media part of that at all. I'm talking about the fans and the social media part of it.
Right. But even with the fans, I mean, like AJ has got to change his habits there. I really think he does. But even with the fans, it's like, I mean, I guess it's sort of the same idea. Like, there's more, right? So there's probably going to be more people complaining at you, but he got crap. He got crap on social media at times in the past as well. It's a bigger volume there. The fan experience in the stadium. I mean, to me, that's where like it will be a different vibe. Yeah. Like, the vibe will be basically the same with the media, and on social media. Yeah, like, you're right. I mean, they're just, and the contract matters too. The contract, he wasn't getting a huge. But here's the thing: let's say that the Titans didn't do this and then AJ held out and they eventually in July, they came to an agreement. The holdout ends. He comes back. Everybody makes up. It still would have been different here too, right? Now the fans are like, okay, you can't get hurt anymore. You better, now the 1,100 yard thing is over. Like we're going to 1,700 yards, right? We're going to So, but yes, I mean, it'll be more like that. I mean, the Philly is certainly, I have no argument about Philly being different in the arenas. It's incredible. I mean, it really is. Like actually they make New York look kind of soft with how they boo people. Like they will boo you like that. But these, the media, and I have tons of respect, lots of great media members in Philly, but this Nashville media is soft thing is so weird to me because I just don't, I've never thought that. And again, I'll take myself out of it. Forget that. I'll take myself out of the equation. Everybody else, the questions that need to be asked get asked here, and honestly, I would say Koharski, in terms of being confrontational, I mean, I would say Koharski is probably more confrontational at times as a question asker than anyone I can recall in Detroit, for example. Yeah. Detroit's a much bigger press corps. I mean, it's a silly narrative, and I'm sure this will be a rant again. And now I feel better, so now let's all be sweet and nice friends, and I'll stop being sarcastic with you on the text line.
Rob in Clarksville on the text line says AJ is going to get cheesesteak poisoning real quick after he drops a pass. So going from Chipotle wearing to Philly cheesesteak poisoning in Philadelphia.
Watch out for that Geno's mayonnaise. Oh, my grandma's phone is ringing again. Sorry.
Well, we're going to commercial break anyway. This has been the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. Sounds like a horn from a boat going off in the background. John Glennon coming up next. We'll get his thoughts on the A.J. Brown situation and the Preds as they take on the Avalanche in Game 1 tonight of the Stanley Cup playoffs. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The voice of reason.
274 yards, 2 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. You're not going to win a game that way.
The voice of the fan.
I'm tired of let's just give it to a quarterback.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Time for the Preds Report.
Presented by Newton Nissan.
Nashville Predators head coach John Hines confirmed in his meeting with the media after practice Monday at Ball Arena in Denver that UC Saros would not be available to the team for the first 2 games of their series with the Colorado Avalanche. Now it's a best-of-7 series. It gets started all tonight. Games 1 and 2 here in Denver tonight and on Thursday. So then the Predators would move back to Nashville for a game on Saturday, game number 3, and Monday, game number 4. The teams have been talking about a lot of things, all the speculation that goes into the opening of a playoff series. Can the Predators, seeded number 8, knock off the Avs, seeded number 1? The fact of the matter is, they're playing, so yes, there is that chance. Pre-game coverage underway for you tonight at 7:30, the game at 8:30. This is Pete Weber reporting.
All the best car deals in Smashville start at Newton Nissan. Visit them at Newton Nissan of Gallatin or Newton Nissan South in Shelbyville.
This is Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
Now through May 10th, join a clean and spacious Planet Fitness for $1 down and only $10 a month. With tons of equipment and free fitness training, it's the perfect place for everybody to work out.
Even me, Mr. I can't sleep at night, so I keep dozing off during the day.
Especially you, Snoozy. You'll rest easier and feel fit-tacular.
Wait, how did you get in here?
Join in club or at planetfitness.com. $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Hurry, deal ends May 10th. See club for details.
Would you like to win a pair of Predators playoff tickets? Come out to the Rivergate Mall Food Court and visit the 102.5 The Game table Friday, May 6th between 12:30 and 2:30 p.m. to register for a chance to win a pair of Preds playoff tickets. While you're at Rivergate Mall, don't forget to stop by Sports Seasons to pick up all your Preds game day gear and a gift for mom. For more info on a chance to win Preds tickets, visit rivergate-mall.com. Rivergate Mall, a place that loves our Preds, shoppers, and community.
Summer heat is on the way. Is your air conditioner ready?
Costs are rising everywhere. Groceries, gas, utilities, you name it. Is your AC old, inefficient, and costing more than it should? Interest rates are rising, but not at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Qualified buyers have up to 72 months no interest for a new York air conditioner and 6 months no interest for repairs. At Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, all new systems come with a 10-year parts and labor warranty. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York certified comfort expert company. Schedule now at springhillac.com.
It's the official Bud Light Preds watch party as your Nashville Predators take on Colorado for Game 2 this Thursday night. The puck drops at 8:30, but the party starts at 8 with all kinds of specials, like $6 on select cans or their delicious new Smashville cocktail for $10. Watch the game on the biggest screen downtown, and don't forget they have dozens of unlimited free vintage arcade games. We'll see you at Headquarters Beercade this Thursday night, downtown Nashville, 2nd Avenue. Go Preds! Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution, and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Parman is now hiring and seeking qualified candidates for construction equipment truck drivers, service technicians, and more. Apply at parmantractor.com or call 615-865-7800. Come be an employee owner with the Parman team, your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, with Stillman and Company.
Surprise, surprise!
I write down what was good, what was bad.
Afternoons from 2 to 6.
On ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
It's Robby and Rexrode with Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, hour number 3 of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Tuesday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. And we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And welcome in our friend John Glennon from SI.com and NHL.com as well. Johnny, what's going on? Long time no talk.
That's right. It's been hours, Robby. How are you guys?
We're doing wonderful. Appreciate you taking time to join us this morning. So, John, let's start on the Titans front. We'll get to the Preds as they take on Colorado coming up here in just a few minutes. But just your thoughts on the A.J. Brown situation. How do you think it got to this point for the Titans, and what did you make of their decision to trade A.J. Brown, and where do they go from here offensively in your mind?
Well, initially, certainly, I thought it was a stunning move. When they announced the trade, I was, I had trouble believing it because obviously what A.J. Brown has meant to the team and the offense and, what a promising future he has. But the more you hear and the more information you gathered, I think the Titans were in kind of a predicament because at some point after the season, I think A.J. Brown clearly decided he wanted out. Whether that was right after the season, I don't know. More likely, it came about, when the whole wide receiver market turned upside down. Everybody was getting paid, and A.J. Brown, as best we can tell, wanted his money, and he wanted it now. And if he wasn't getting it, and as much as he thought he would, hey, it was time to move on, and hopefully play with his buddy Jalen Hurts again. So in that light, and given what we understand to be A.J. Brown's asking price from the Titans, which was even higher than the contract that he received from the Eagles, I think John Robinson, was accurate in saying it was just too much of a gap to bridge. And so he said, all right, let's make the most of it. Let's get some draft capital out of this. Let's get another wide receiver who could potentially replace A.J. Brown. Hence, the deal was done, and the Titans actually, wind up with some more draft picks than they had originally. But I think it was a tough position for the Titans because, as I say, I think they would have done just about everything they could to bring A.J. Brown, but you can't completely overturn your payroll, for one player after 3 seasons.
Yeah, it was a tough spot. So we know the deal. We know the deal he got. If you were in charge, John, and over time, let's just say hypothetically, everybody, cooler heads prevail. Like right now, Debo's sitting there in San Fran. Who knows what's going to happen there? He requested a trade. He's still there. We'll see what happens. But let's say you didn't do this. You went back to the drawing board. Everybody took a break. Come back to the table later. There'll probably be a holdout, all that. Would you give him the contract he got from Philadelphia if you were John Robinson?
Possibly, but even that is steep. When you look at the wide receiver market right now, I mean, what he got from Philadelphia kind of puts him about third in terms of average, money per year at this point. I think it's only below Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill. So he blew away a lot of the guys that were more accomplished and more experienced, including, Stephon Diggs and Mike Williams, Mike Thomas, no, I was right originally, Mike Williams. A lot of guys that probably arguably should have been making more money than A.J. Brown should have. So I don't know. And I think the point that you raised, too, is going to be very interesting also, because you look specifically at the Titans versus the 49ers, and they have chosen to handle this very differently. Two players, same draft year, two very accomplished young wide receivers requested to be traded. Titans said, all right, we can't make it work. Let's get what we can. And the 49ers have taken that opposite approach, saying, all right, the heck with this. We can't trade you. We're going to let things cool down and let things play out at that point. So it's going to be very interesting to me to see how things play out. Do the Titans, get a reward for the draft capital that they secured, or do the 49ers wind up winning because they kind of chilled and said, we'll work this out over time, despite all the drama that is inevitably going to come with it. So it's going to be an interesting comparison there.
John Glennon on with us here on Robby and Rexrode. So, John, what did you think of the Titans draft, and what specifically did you think of them selecting Malik Willis in the third round?
Yeah, no, I think it's specific Willis. I think it was a good pick in the third round. Because I think the fear a lot of Titans fans had, was drafting one of these quarterbacks, whether it was Willis or one of the other 4 or 5 top guys in the first round. And the book on them, was kind of like they may be good enough to be starters, but they may not be. It's not a lock. But so if you take one of those guys in the first round, you're kind of pushing all your chips into the center there and saying, this is my guy. But now you have taken a few guys. You've taken 3 guys in front of Malik Willis. You've already got some reward likely from this draft. You've got a year for Willis to kind of sit and learn and sort of polish his passing game as well. So I think it's a pretty good situation there. And then, overall, as we talked about earlier, I think the Titans did a good job adding draft capital with that A.J. Brown move. All those trades either directly or indirectly led to their first 4 picks. So, they addressed their needs. Roger McCreary gives depth to the corner position. With Petit Frere, you may have a right tackle right out of the gate. We'll see. And some further depth. I think Chigo Kwanko also is a nice pick at tight end. They needed another player there. So pretty solid group, it appears, at this point for the Titans.
Well, that's the big question I have. You mentioned Petit Frere. Got some fantastic names in this draft class, by the way, and I think we're all doing very well with them. How do you view? I can't figure out, because I know some people have looked at that pick and said, okay, so Dylan Radin's at left guard. I don't necessarily buy that. I don't see how you can draft that guy, given the evaluations of him, which are high ceiling, but raw and maybe not ready. So how do you view this? Is it Radin's, Petit Frere at right tackle, and then Brewer against Jamarco Jones for left guard? Do you think Radin still toggles back and forth? Do they need to go get a veteran? Because to me, the offensive line either gets better, or I struggle to see how the offense gets better with A.J. Brown out of it.
Oh, I agree completely with you. You certainly look at the offense right now and the loss of A.J. Brown. To me, so the Titans offense, despite adding Treylon Burks, another tight end, et cetera, I think the offense is certainly worse than before the draft weekend, before the A.J. Brown trade. But yes, specifically, in regards to the offensive line, I kind of feel like they do need another veteran. We'll see another wave of free agency here in the offseason. And I'm just not, confident that they have all those starters spots filled right now. I think Petit Frere, I agree with you. All the scouting reports say a lot of potential, a big man, great attitude, versatile. but maybe not ready right away. Maybe not a kind of a day one, starter in the league. And I still think that's up in the air at left guard as well. I'm not sure Brewer is the answer there. To me, he's a good reserve player. He's versatile and he battles and so forth. But I don't know if you want him in there for a full season. So to me, there are question marks still about the starters on at both left guard and right tackle. And I still think at least one of those positions, maybe bringing in another vet, a guy who's capable of plugging right in and playing and letting some of the younger guys, kind of season and learn behind him is something the Titans will look at, before training camp.
John Glennon on with us here on Robby and Rexrode. So, John, you joined me yesterday on Preds Insiders looking ahead to the series that begins tonight between the Predators and the Avalanche. What do you make of this matchup for the Predators? And as you start to kind of dissect what the matchups are going to look like on a line-by-line basis, do you think John Hines sticks with Granlund, Forsberg, and Duchesne as a line together tonight?
That's a good question. Overall in the matchup, I think certainly you have to look at Colorado as an overwhelming favorite. I think there are some reasons, to kind of like the Preds' chances, but maybe one of the biggest, was UC Saros. A goalie certainly has the ability to kind of steal a series if he's playing at an elite level for virtually the entire series. And UC Saros is one of the goalies in the NHL that could do that, I think. Unfortunately, he's going to be out for at least the first two games, and I don't think anybody would be surprised if he winds up missing the entire series. So maybe some other, X factors that kind of that you'd like to see the Preds take advantage of. They are that heavy, pounding, physical team that, if a series gets extended, that will take its toll on the Avs. Maybe that results in some more turnovers. Maybe that results in a less confident Avs team, that kind of thing. And, I think the power or the special teams battle is there to be taken for the Predators if they themselves can stay out of the box. Because right now, on the other side of things, the power play is working very well for the Preds. But you don't want to be in the box against the Colorado Avalanche and all those big guns over there, too. So, and maybe, if I'm looking for one more thing in the Preds' favor, there's the I think the Preds go in with a confidence, having beaten the Avs 3 out of 4 times this year. Whereas the Avs, there's a lot of pressure on this team. They finished first. They haven't had a ton of playoff success over the last few years, despite finishing very high. So if you get in there and you steal a game, one of these first 2 games, make the Avs start thinking a little bit. Maybe that plays into the Preds' favor. But yeah, and then to your other question. I would think so. That'd be my guess right offhand that they stay with Forsberg, Granlund, and Duchesne, because it's been so productive. The only risk, of course, is that, if one line gets shut down, and we see that sometimes in the playoffs because of the chess match and the focus on stopping one line, the Preds have to show that they're going to have some other players step up in that offensive support role, and maybe you're leaving yourself a little bit vulnerable if you go with those big 3. On the one line.
John, real fast, is Nashville sports media soft?
I don't feel like we're soft, just because most of us aren't angry or screaming most of the time, as we see perhaps in some other cities. I don't think that makes us soft. So that's my stand on that.
Good. You've made Joe Rexrode feel a lot better about himself.
I mean, Kaharski's soft, but that's a separate thing.
Oh, sure. He's pudding, for goodness sakes. But no. I'm just kidding. Again, I always go back to saying the job of the media is to obtain information to pass on to readers or listeners, however you want to, or viewers, however it is. And just because, you don't get angry and scream and shout, that doesn't mean that you're soft. You're doing the best job you can at getting information. And that's to me, that's what our role is. And oftentimes when you're a screamer or yeller, you're not getting the kind of information that you can pass on to the people that want that. So
you actually are ripping Kaharski right now.
Everybody has their own different style. It's he's been successful with his style for many years, so to each their own.
John Glennon from SI.com, NHL.com, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. John, great stuff as always. Appreciate you joining us this morning.
Okay, thanks for having me, guys.
All righty, John Glennon, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll take your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, including one thought from Heidi from Dixon on the text line that I'm very excited to get Joe's thoughts on coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025, The Game.
Let's put the green flag in the air and turn them loose.
Nashville's home for NASCAR.
He's going to try to make a big move here.
It's brought to you by the Nashville Super Speedway. We are your racing station.
ESPN
1025 and 1063 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
The 2022 Major League Soccer season is officially here, and the Nashville SC Stadium nearly complete. Don't miss Nashville SC's home opener May 1st. Grab a seat at nashvillesc.com/22ticks.
Don't forget to grab your mom something special this year. Shop at Social Furniture for their Mother's Day sale, where everything is in stock. They have sofas, bedroom sets, and top-name brand new mattresses like Purple, Serta, Sealy, and Simmons on sale now. Running out of time? Well, at Social Furniture, there's no waiting and same-day delivery. Use Social Furniture's financing plan and pay no interest for 1 full year. Shop at Social Furniture today on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Shop local. Shop social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
As a mom, you have to plan for everything. But I never planned on my health plan at work costing so much to cover my family. Fortunately, with more than 70 years of experience helping Tennesseans, Farm Bureau health plans help me get family-friendly coverage for a lot less. So I can focus on raising my kids, not my premiums.
Ouch, Mom!
Find out more at fbhp.com. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Plan on us.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics wants to thank their patients for voting them the #1 orthopedic practice in the Nashville Scene Poll for 3 years in a row. Their physicians specialize in spine, joint replacement, knee, hip, upper extremity, and other orthopedic conditions. At Houston Clinic Orthopedics, they adhere to all CDC guidelines for the patient's and staff safety. To experience world-class orthopedic care and see a list of all physicians, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
I'm Pablo Torre, host of ESPN Daily, where every morning we present the best sports story of the day. And ESPN Daily is presented by Supercuts. Supercuts is the perfect way to get a haircut if you're someone who doesn't have time for a haircut. You just check in on the Supercuts app or you walk in for a quality cut. The highly trained stylists at Supercuts can always give you that fresh cut feeling fast. And it's not just any haircut, it's Supercuts. Check in now on the Supercuts app or on supercuts.com.
Welcome to Allstate, where we bring it all together. And bundling your home and auto is good, right? And it saves you up to 25%. It all comes together. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Bundled savings discounts will vary by state. Saving up to 25% is a countrywide average of savings off the home policy. Combining the multiple policy discount for having auto insurance with Allstate and the welcome discount savings at enrollment.
Interact with Robby and Rexrode. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
There's a new way to hear us on Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game. Check us out on 106.3 from downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have two choices to hear our great sports programming and the Nashville Predators. Check us out on 106.3 now and save it as a preset. We had a texter earlier from Nolensville enjoying us very much on 106.3. So shout out to Nolensville. Shout out to 106.3. Check it out.
Shout out to Nolensville. Nolensville football. Friday is for Knights. Got that t-shirt.
Ooh, very nice. I like that. Joe, there's a text from Heidi from Dixon that I'm interested to get your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. I got a texter going back to the Tannehill conversation. Maybe drafting Malik Willis will have the opposite effect. Ryan might be licking his lips because being paid $38 million for a backup sounds tempting. This is coming from Heidi from Dixon on the text line. So we talked about earlier, maybe, maybe Tannehill's, he's off the boat. He's ready to do some work, ready to get in there and start zipping passes around now that Willis is the backup quarterback and looking to take his job next year. And Heidi's like, you know what? Maybe he's just giving it over to Malik Willis at this point and say, I'll take my money to be a backup this year. Thank you very much.
He's like, hey, let's go deeper into the ocean. Throw me another line. Throw me another Celsius. Maybe put a little vodka in that Celsius. And by the way, I'm putting my phone on airplane mode, so if the new rookies try to text me, I won't see it.
Oh, man.
Love you, Heidi. Love you, Heidi. On another topic, a couple, I thought, interesting comments real quick. One is, I've heard this. This is kind of an interesting thing, okay? Ben says on the text line, the only reason people think media here is weak is because you all are supposed to portray the excitement and outrage of the fans, and the fans here don't have as much outrage. It's not your fault. You are our voice. We just aren't as loud as some other places. So our Nashville sports fans, soft. I've heard this. I suppose, like, again, if we're going to compare it to Philly, you're not going to boo like every mistake instantly on the field or on the court or on the ice. I do remember, and then back into the game after giving up 4 sacks, 2-1. And, the Nashville fans, the Titans fans that day were none too happy with him or their team. So I don't know. I don't know if I buy that.
I can't wait for a repeat performance when Tannehill throws his first pick. It's just going to be amazing.
So another one real quick from Dennis. I've always felt the Nashville sports media soft narrative was driven by certain Nashville sports media members so they can pound their chest and say, I'm the only one tough enough to ask the hard questions, which I'm assuming has to be a reference to Kaharski. So I texted back, so Kaharski, and Dennis threw a little gif of maybe. The funny thing about that is, and sometimes Paul does have this whole, like, I'm the tough guy, The funny thing about that is, like, Glennon, who never is confrontational or anything like that, he's pissed off Vrabel probably more than everybody.
I was about to say, Glennon's always the one that gets it from Vrabel.
Yeah, Vrabel's always like, man, and walks out when Glennon asks, like an obvious question. So, you just got to be careful. You don't want to be performative, It's like there's nothing wrong with, it's great, ask the questions, you get into a little back and forth or whatever, that's fine, but you just don't want to be performative.
John the mailman saying Nashville fans need to start booing Santa Claus. You can fit in there with Philly.
Exactly. Look, if you're going to compare yourself as fans to some of those places, then fine. But I don't think like the fans here. But I've also heard the whole thing like, well, the Preds fans in particular are soft on the Preds, and they're not as tough on the Preds as the Titan fans are on the Titans. So, like, for the people who are fans of both, what does that mean? Do you like put on a smiley face when you go into Bridgestone, and then you're all like ready to rock when you go into Nissan? Like, what does that mean?
I don't know. That's a good question. Hey, maybe that's true. Maybe you're so happy to be there at Bridgestone. You're like, you know what? You guys, you do whatever you want to out there. I don't think that happens.
I've detected some pretty upset and ornery Preds fans in the last couple of years here, but yeah. I don't know, man. We're all soft, I guess.
I don't know. 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. LD from McMinnville says, I'm not sure I could see Titans fans pelting Santa Claus with batteries, aka Philly. Forgot about that one.
Yeah. No, Philly it is a special kind of deal there. There is no doubt about that. So, like, in all seriousness, with AJ Brown in Philly, to your point on social media, like, this would be a great time to just change your approach.
Yeah.
It would be a great time to just get out of that as much as you can.
Griffin on the text line says, as a big fan of all Tennessee sports, I'm always pissed off. LOL. This coming from Griffin on the text line.
Yeah.
Hey. Got a chance tonight in the playoffs to turn things around.
Got the Preds with a big one. You got, and if you're including the Grizzlies get their shot at game 2. Very upset that's at the same time.
You're going to be going to some split screen action tonight?
Probably will stream. See, another problem here is like my grandma stays up, like she stayed up till 1:30 watching the Tigers the other day. And then last night, I know she stayed up till like 1 a.m. watching the Rays A's game in front of like the lowest crowd ever in A's history, like 2,000 people.
Dozens of people were in attendance. Yeah.
So tonight she's got Tigers and Rays. So what am I going to do? Like, I can't rob my grandma of her baseball.
Have to go get laptop for one, phone for the other.
Might have to. Yeah, might have to. Double streaming. So, but obviously focusing on the big Preds game. But then, the Grizzlies, if you're including all of Tennessee sports, I don't know how many people are fans of like Titans, Preds, and Grizzlies, but for those of you who are, it's at least an exciting time tonight, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. Robert in Nashville says, the lines at Nissan are worse than Bridgestone. So that's why Titans fans are more mad. The lines at Nissan Stadium. That is true.
Well, I will say, that's been, they've had issues trying to figure all that out. So that is a fair point. I think that they've figured some things out and they've gotten better. I think they got better last year, but that's a huge deal. It's like with Nashville SC. It seems like they kind of, like they had a good system going the other day, but like ultimately, like, parking, all that stuff. Fan experience is a big part of this too. And it's a big part of how you feel.
No question about it. We'll look ahead to game 1 tonight between the Predators and the Colorado Avalanche coming up next. Welcome your thoughts as well on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. It's going to be an interesting game tonight between the Preds and the Avalanche, and interested to see what happens on that front. Joe, I asked this to John just a few minutes ago. The Granlund, Forsberg, Duchesne, are you at all worried if they go with those two guys on the same line that maybe that could be counterproductive if Colorado, especially at home, controlling last change, really hems in on that line and tries to shut them down, which I'm sure they will try to do?
Yeah, is it a situation where you are more prone to breaking them up on the road as opposed to at home because of that very reason? Do you think about it that way? To me, I would want them on a line together, 5-on-5, as much as possible. But there is something to be said, especially when you think about the alternatives or the possibilities with Johansson. It's not very appealing right now till somebody of those candidates really steps up.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where it's got to pick your poison there, because if it works and they score, then you're feeling good about those two being together, obviously. But if they get shut down, it's going to be difficult to see where the offense is coming from if you're the Predators, if those two guys aren't a big part of it. We'll take your thoughts on the Preds, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Attention men, have you been struggling with erectile dysfunction? Well, Hillside Medical Clinic has a breakthrough treatment for ED that does not require any pills, injections, or surgery. And right now, Andrew joins me from Hillside Medical Clinic to tell us all about it. Andrew, what's going on?
Hello there, guys. If you're out there frustrated in the bedroom, and this is normal, probably not liking those pills, trips to the pharmacy, maybe all the side effects. Hillside Medical Clinic has helped so many men with a technology called acoustic wave therapy. I believe this is the future, guys. It uses pressure waves to repair the blood vessels. It's not a chemical. It's not a pill. It's not an injection. So that means we're treating the root cause, and there are no side effects.
So, Andrew, what kinds of clinical studies have been done on this technology?
It is extensive. This is no longer a theory. We have, over the past 8 years, accumulated about 60 clinical studies, major universities, hospitals. One of the biggest hospitals in America, in fact, studied this, tested it, and said it led to a clinical increase in blood flow. Exactly what a guy with erectile dysfunction needs.
And Andrew, you got a special offer if our listeners call in right now.
We really believe in delivering a lot of value. If you're struggling with ED, if you're ready to regain your love life, grab your phone, call us now. The exam, the assessment, the blood flow ultrasound, it's free. Plus the gift that produces results in the bedroom in minutes, that is worth the trip alone, guys. Call us now. This is all totally no charge.
That's right, guys. You can put a stop to your erectile dysfunction by treating the root cause of the problem. Call Hillside Medical Clinic right now to qualify for that offer at 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your ED and regain your love life. Call Hillside Medical Clinic right now at 615-576-5000.
Jump in the mind of an NHL veteran as Predators analyst Hal Gill joins Stillman Company Tuesday afternoons at 5:30.
Here they are in a pressure situation every night because they need 2 points.
And Robby and Rexrode Thursday mornings at 9:30.
Goaltending, I think it might be an issue at some point.
Presented by Duncan on Smashville's best sports talk. ESPN 1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The 2022 Major League Soccer season is officially here, and the Nashville SC Stadium nearly complete. Don't miss Nashville SC's home opener May 1st. Grab a seat at nashvillesc.com/22ticks.
The metal tour of the year. Megadeth, Lamb of God, with special guests, Trivium and In Flames. This Friday, Bridgestone Arena. 4 of metal's biggest artists share the stage for one epic night. This is a buck-up. On sale now. Buy tickets at livenation.com. Megadeth, Lamb of God, with special guests, Trivium and In Flames.
You don't have just an ordinary mom in your life. She's the best. Her work never stops. Her sacrifices are many. Her love is unfailing. This Mother's Day, Genesis Diamonds invites you to join us in celebrating and appreciating the mothers in our lives. Stop in and let one of our trusted advisors help you find a special, meaningful gift. Layering necklaces, stackable rings, eternity bands, pearls, elegant diamond pendants, and of course, stunning diamond earrings. Great Mother's Day ideas for any budget. There's no doubt we love Mom, but sometimes a little extra appreciation goes a long way as a thank you for helping us through challenges, making sacrifices, and always putting the family first. So whether it's her first Mother's Day or her 60th, Mom deserves a gift that's anything but ordinary. And at Genesis, that's our specialty. Exquisite rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, heirloom pieces. Timeless gifts of jewelry that she can enjoy and cherish for decades to come, and always be reminded of how special she is to the family. Genesis Diamonds, online at genesisdiamonds.net.
Stop buying tickets without rewards and start getting more from the only ticketing company that rewards you for buying, Vivid Seats. Buy 10 tickets, the 11th is on us. That's like 10% back every time you buy. And with 100% buyer guarantee and over 100 million tickets sold, that's something to sing, laugh, cheer, scream, buy about. Head to vividseats.com for terms and conditions. Vivid Seats. Life happens live.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
That new doctor is drop dead gorgeous.
Please, he's just another RV League educated surgeon with good hair.
No, he's different.
Nurses, we got a Class C motorhome with a detached driver's side mirror. Meet me in the OR. Stat.
Right away, doctor.
No, she's on break. I'll handle this one.
Oh, you conniving little...
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
The sounds. Play ball.
It's gone! A grand slam for Mark Mathias.
The Nashville Sounds are back at First Horizon Park as they take on Norfolk.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sounds win.
Coverage begins at 6:20 on your home for the Sounds. ESPN 94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Matthias Ekholm. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025 The Game. Streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio here with you on this Tuesday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Looking ahead to Game 1 tonight between the Colorado Avalanche and the Nashville Predators in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Puck drop at 8:30, pregame at 7:30 here on ESPN 1025 The Game. And Joe, this is going to be an interesting one tonight. Obviously, UC Saros going to miss the first 2 games. John Hines confirming that yesterday, and then they'll see after that. So, we talked about the high ankle sprain that he's reported to have been dealing with coming from Alex Doherty of A to Z Sports. It's hard to imagine him being fully healthy at any point in this series, but we know for games 1 and 2, he's not going to be able to go. So, there was no committal of an answer yesterday from John Hines, but my guess is it's probably going to be Dave Riddick tonight in net for the Predators as they take on Colorado. I would be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked, but I'd be surprised if it's Connor Ingram.
Yeah, I'd be maybe just short of shocked. I'd be highly surprised about that if it's Ingram. Now, had Ingram played really well Friday, then I may have been closer to 50-50. But, you know, honestly, unless Ingram was just outrageously good, I think it was probably trending toward Riddick getting the first start. Still think certainly that both goaltenders, I'm going to expect to see both of them before this series is over. I think that's a pretty fair expectation.
Interested to see what the lineup looks like tonight too. And we talked about, you know, Forsberg and Duchesne being together in the last segment. Dennis texting in says, the Predators used to have playoff Colin Wilson. What player do you think could add playoff to the front of their name this postseason? To me, like, it would have to be somebody that maybe comes out of nowhere a little bit, right? Like playoff Luke Cunnin.
Playoff Luke Cunnin, playoff Ellie Tolvanen. I mean, that's what you're looking for. One of those two. If one of those two has that name attached to, you know, as a attached to their name, then I like the Preds' chances more. I mean, you have to start with, we've talked about already, the big guns being big guns, but you're going to need more than that. Yeah, I think you're going to need a lot of goals to win this series. You're going to need a lot of goals. You're going to need to score. And at least one of those two guys having a little, whoa, where'd this come from, would be a big deal. Duchesne, that was a little bit of him last year in the playoff series. You know, there were times where it was like, okay, that looks like a different guy than what we saw most of the regular season. Then he carried that over and built on it this year.
Well, and the other thing, and John brought this up too, but like for the, hey, they don't call penalties in the playoffs crowd. That has not been the way that things have gone so far. There are a ton of penalties yesterday in Toronto and Tampa Bay. And then you look back at the St. Louis, Minnesota game last night, and I'm trying to do some math in my head quickly. I think there's like 11 penalties for the Blues and like 12 for the Wild last night. So they're calling penalties right now. Now, I realize some of that was like misconducts and stuff, but I mean, roughing, slashing, cross-checking, roughing, high stick. I mean, there's penalties left and right that were called in the games yesterday.
Well, I'm still in that crowd, but I suppose you make fair points. I think for the most part, you've got some of the ticky-tack stuff that doesn't get called, but you've got some stats to back it up.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you're the Predators, like, you've struggled with the penalties all year, so it's hard for me to believe that they're just going to go in the playoffs now and they're not going to commit penalties, because we've seen them do it all year. But I do think part of what you could work to your favor, and going back to the physicality of this, is like the Predators, when they're on, not only are they physical, but they're pretty frustrating to play against, right? So it's the physicality, it's the kind of being that pest. I think Nick Cousins does that really well. And sometimes maybe he does a little too well and takes it over the line. But if you could like goad Colorado into taking some penalties, like that would be ideal for your power play to get out there. Because I still think the Predators, like, they're probably going to get caught out of position a few times where you're going to have to hook and hold and do these things that, you know, a team like as fast and skilled as Colorado is, it's probably going to happen to you a few times in this series. But if you can take it the other way and draw some penalties and put your power play out there, that's what I'm trying to do if I'm the Predators.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's, you know, it's not like it's not just that they're physical, they hit people, and they use it to create offense and to to tire out the other team. The forecheck, when it's, especially with the herd line, I mean, those guys are when this team was beating Colorado and first in the division, first in the West for a minute, that was also the peak to me of the herd line. I mean, Jeannot has had a steady, production all year, but the herd line was so effective, so frustrating for teams back then. And as much as the big guns are important, I also look at that line in particular. You have to not just make an impact in the intangible ways, you got to make a tangible impact in this series too.
Yeah, no question about it. And we'll see how the defense core responds to the challenge tonight too. In that way, like number one, Lozon has been out there and has been skating. Is he going to be a part of things tonight on that third pair? If not, are you rolling with Borowiecki and Benning? And I mean, Joe, I read it off earlier, the final 2 weeks of the regular season, and keeping in mind that some of these are before UC Saros got hurt, it hasn't been great for the Predators defensively as of late. I mean, you gave up 8 to St. Louis, 6 to Tampa Bay, 5 to Minnesota, albeit in overtime. Same thing with Calgary, 4 to Colorado, and Arizona, you gave up 5 as well. I mean, that's how you closed out the season, with the exception of the Calgary game on the 19th, which is the week before the last Calgary game. With the exception of that game, he gave up at least 4 goals in every single game the last 2 weeks to close out the regular season. That is not a winning formula against the Avalanche.
No, I mean, if you and I know you played them one time, but if you translate some of those issues, and I think especially of like the 8-minute stretch against St. Louis or whatever, like Colorado's going to be pushing double digits. Okay. So you gotta tighten things up. You got to tighten up here.
Yeah, you do.
You got to do. Okay. And there's so much on the Preds to be not perfect, but to being careful and, not having those killer turnovers, in the D zone that have been part of this at times. It's, and then by the way, you also have, you don't have your backstop. You don't have your guy who has saved you a ton, even with those numbers. I mean, UC Saros is a sense of security. If you want to be really optimistic, and I've heard this, and we've talked about this, well, without Saros back there, you're going to be more careful. But of course, you also have to play. You can't be so, conservative and cautious that you don't attack them. I mean, it's an interesting balance, and they're just a team that can make you pay so easily for one mistake.
Joe, I'm still going through and trying to find somebody that's picked the Predators to win this series. And right now I'm going through NHL.com. There's not anybody so far. I mean, there's a lot of people that write for NHL.com, but I'm going down the list. Nobody so far has picked the Nashville Predators. So we only know of one, and that was apparently at the Athletic, and we don't know exactly who it was. We've got to figure out who this is.
Joe, was it you?
No, it really wasn't me. No, I mean, I picked Colorado in 5. That was my official pick. I swear, I'm on the case right now. Let's see if by the end of the show I can figure out who. Because again, whoever it was, 1, we're going to make fun of them, but 2, we're going to. I mean, I think they should get at least a segment, if not more than that, if the Preds do win the series. I mean, I think they should get.
For sure. I mean, I think people think I'm crazy for picking them to lose in 6. They're like 6 games. Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about, Homer?
Exactly. We'll continue to take your thoughts on the Preds. It is time for Preds Pick to Click, brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka. We got some tickets to give away for Game 4 of this series between the Preds and the Avalanche as well. So be the first caller at 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025 to guess the goal scorer tonight for the Nashville Predators. If you get it right, you'll win some tickets to Game 4 coming up between the Predators and the Avalanche next Monday night. 615-737-1025. You can go yard all May long with $5 Dinger Tuesdays on FanDuel Sportsbook. This season, all customers will get $5 for every home run hit by both teams when you place a $25 to hit a home run wager on Tuesday MLB games. And the best part about Dinger Tuesdays is even if your bet loses, FanDuel will pay you $5 for every home run. The Yankees, to the chagrin of many, have been red hot as of late, and so have Anthony Rizzo and Aaron Judge. So give me one of those two guys for my pick, but you take it any way you want to take it. What are you waiting on? Just pick your home run hitter and turn big swings into big wins. There's no better place to bet America's pastime than on America's #1 sportsbook. Head on over to FanDuel or download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up using promo code ROB. Once again, that promo code is ROB. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. A max bonus of $25. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Checkered flag.
Join Chase McCabe for Chasing Checkers every Sunday morning at 8 for all the news in the world of motorsports.
Joey Logano gets the very first victory in the next-gen car
while hearing from the big names.
Two-time champion Kyle Busch.
Being able to bring NASCAR, the Cup Series, back to Nashville is cool.
It's Chasing Checkers, presented by Apple Collision Centers and the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. We're looking at partly cloudy skies, highs in the middle 80s. It's a little humid with scattered showers and thunderstorms this afternoon and evening.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a lounge singer to be their office receptionist.
Hello, this is Mickey Marquis, and you've reached the office of Doug & Associates. Thank you very much. Catch me Tuesday nights at the Hotel Johnson. Hello?
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Doug & Associates, this is Mickey Market. Hello?
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
And now it's Geico's Motorcycle Rules of the Road. Avoid biking in the rain and never touch another person's bike.
Hey guys, look at these bikes. So shiny. Whoops. I'm gonna leave a note. Oh gosh, there's more.
And the rule to saving on motorcycle insurance is, in 15 minutes, Geico could save you 15% or more.
The 2022 Major League Soccer season is officially here, and the Nashville SC Stadium nearly complete. Don't miss Nashville SC's home opener May 1st. Grab a seat at nashvillesc.com/22ticks.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution, and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Parman is now hiring and seeking qualified candidates for construction equipment truck drivers, service technicians, and more. Apply at parmantractor.com or call 615-865-7800. Come be an employee owner with the Parman team, your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. It's the official Bud Light Preds Watch Party as your Nashville Predators take on Colorado for Game 2 this Thursday night. The puck drops at 8:30, but the party starts at 8 with all kinds of specials, like $6 on select cans or their delicious new Smashville cocktail for $10. Watch the game on the biggest screen downtown, and don't forget they have dozens of unlimited free vintage arcade games. We'll see you at Headquarters Beercade this Thursday night, downtown Nashville, 2nd Avenue. Go Preds!
Darren McFarland.
That should get you in the mood for a game tonight.
Willie Donick.
I think between 5.5 and 6 is probably in the ballpark.
Chase McCabe.
Typically, I like to take the most difficult task and do it first.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Robby and Rexrode is on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Tuesday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. And it is that time of the day, time for Preds to pick to click here on Robby and Rexrode. Preds taking on the Colorado Avalanche tonight in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And David from Nolensville, our guest today on our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And if David gets his pick right, he will win tickets coming up to Game 4 between the Predators and the Colorado Avalanche next Monday night. David, thanks for calling us. Who is your pick to click tonight for the Nashville Predators?
Got to go with Forsberg.
So going with Philip Forsberg. David, appreciate you calling in.
All right, thanks.
So Philip Forsberg, the selection by David in Nolensville. So, by the way, Joe, the standings in the competition I should have read before we did that, but I'll do it now anyway. Listeners at 19, Joe at 19, Robby at 17, Michelle at 14. So still tied at the top. Nobody got anything the other night in Arizona. Kind of hard to believe.
Pressure's on. This is it. Postseason hockey.
The pressure is on. So Forsberg off the board. Michelle Knezovic has the first selection today. Michelle, your pick to click tonight for the Nashville Predators.
Well, that is just amazing. I am going to pick Matt Duchene against his old team. They're booing him, but I don't care. He's still going to score. So give me Matt Duchene.
So Matt Duchene, the selection by Michelle. So Forsberg, Duchene off the board. I'm up next, and I'm kind of torn on this one because there's a couple different ways I could go. But, Joe, I'm going Johansson. I think playoff Ryan Johansson again shows up. He's been very good all regular season long, but he tends to step his game up in the playoffs. So give me 92. I will go Ryan Johansson tonight against the Avalanche. Forsberg, Duchene, Johansson off the board. Joe Rexrode, your pick to click.
All right, I know I joke about this, but I'm actually serious now. When did I pick first last time?
I don't know. I can go back through it, but I've got a rotation, Joe.
Joe, you're winning, so it's just.
I think you skipped me, man.
I think you skipped you.
I think you did. I think for real this time. My all year of faux complaining now in the postseason. I think you might have. I do want to recount. I just want to recount.
I'll go back and look.
All right.
I am 98% sure that I did not skip you.
Let's see. I'll go Yossi.
Okay. Going with the captain, Roman Yossi. I thought you may go off the wall here and go like Tolvanen, but we don't know if it's going to play or not.
Yeah, that's part of why I didn't. I'm not so sure
it's part of
the lineup.
Yes.
I guess I could have gone Matt Luff, and just
could have
thrown caution to the wind. But yes, it's time for Yossi. By the way, who's winning the Norris? Who's going to win?
I think it's going to be close. I'll give the slight edge to Yossi, but I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a whole lot closer than a lot of Predator fans want to admit.
I agree. I think it's going to be very close. Like if you force me, like you must, you got to whatever. You got to put $100 on one or the other right now because obviously, the voting is like there's nothing else that goes into the voting.
No.
I think I'd probably pick Yossi, but I would not feel super secure about it. And it's just like how closely do people look at it? Some people do look very closely. Some people don't. Really, it favors him that he just ends up with more points than Makar, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think the Preds finish and not just the losing, but giving up massive amounts of goals left and right. Some of that stuff could hurt Yossi.
It could. Now, Colorado was losing a lot down the stretch too, but they've already won a lot of games, so they'll probably be in good shape. Look, I think it's going to be close. Every poll that was taken basically down the stretch, some had Makar in front, some had Yossi in front, but they were pretty darn close. So I think it's going to be a close finish in the Norris Trophy race. It is kind of amazing that those two going head to head with each other in the first round of the playoffs, which again, as you pointed out, has no bearing on the Norris Trophy vote. So something to keep in mind as the Predators take on tonight. I said this earlier, Joe, and maybe I am the homer pick here. I think the Preds win tonight. I think they win game one. I've got them winning game one. I've got them losing game two and then splitting here in Nashville before losing games 5 and 6. So I picked the Avalanche to win the series in 6 games, but I think the Preds, I think they win tonight.
That's a good shot. I can warm up to that. I can warm up to that idea. The first game, there's the whole weight of not only are you supposed to rip through this series if you're the Avs, you're supposed to rip through 4 of them. Although actually, who is like the odds-on favorite to win it right now?
I think it's them, but I'll double check on that.
Yeah, I know for us at the Athletic, they were picked by more than anybody. And I picked them. I was one of those people who picked them. But there's a lot of sometimes when sometimes it's good to get smacked in the face and then you kind of settle into a series and realize it's not going to be easy. I don't think the Avs are under some illusion that this is going to be easy, but still they have the weight of the expectation. They have the weight of being the favorites. They have the weight of last year's failure on them. And they know, and then there's the psychology, which again, the tangible part of this is terrible for the Preds, not having Saros. The psychology part of it, sometimes that does benefit the team that lost the player. So I could see that. I'm still picking the Avs to win 5-2, but I could see what you're saying. I think that you make a good point. And also, by the way, Vingan has tried to find out who from The Athletic, the one person, picked the Preds, and no one is owning up to it at this point.
Gotta have it happen. Gotta have this happen by the end of the show. By the way, the Avalanche are the outright Stanley Cup favorite. Toronto and then Tampa Bay. I would imagine, and there's a pretty sizable gap between Toronto and Tampa Bay. I would imagine those have been updated since Toronto has taken a 1-0 series lead on Tampa Bay. So honestly, at Tampa Bay Lightning plus 1,400 right now might be some good value. Just throwing it out there.
Holy cow. I mean, so 5-0 last night. Toronto looked great, looked amazing. Everybody's gaga. I'm going to call a shot. Tampa Bay wins the next 4 games, and Toronto scores a total of 5 goals in those games. Okay?
I like that.
Write it down, Joe.
I like it. Well, I will say, I don't know if it's going to be holding them to 5 goals in the next few games, but there was a lot of, I feel like, dancing on the grave of the Tampa Bay Lightning last night. And I was like, hey, guys, it's one game. I understand Toronto looked really good last night, but it's one game. And honestly, how many times have we seen this movie before with the Maple Leafs in the playoffs? I'm not saying it can't be different this year, but as I was saying on Twitter yesterday, until I see it, especially against this team, against Tampa Bay, until I see them close out a series, I still won't believe it.
Exactly. I mean, it's not like they haven't had good games in the playoffs before. They haven't gotten like swept every single year. Like, they have moments where you're like, oh, okay. And then, I mean, that Boston series, 3 years ago, I guess, right? Was it 3 or 2 years? Yeah, the Boston series was epic.
Yeah.
And they failed in the end. But I don't trust them, and I do trust Tampa Bay. And I think a lot of people way overreacted last night, including our good friend Ryan Porth. Come on, Porth, you know better.
Yeah. There is one. I found one on ESPN.com. Dominic Moore has picked the Predators to win this series in 7 games.
I should have said that. Vingan texted me that. Dominic Moore. So we've got a name.
We know of 2.
We got a name attached to the. Wait, we know of 2. We know they're, and one of them actually has a name attached to it.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just going to go to my Slack, the NHL Slacks, and say, whoever of you picked the Preds, admit it right now.
Yeah. Own it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just own it.
We want to celebrate you if you're right, make fun of you in the meantime.
When we come back, we'll be joined by Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports. We'll get his thoughts on A.J. Brown to the Eagles and all things NFL. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Take us wherever you may go.
There is going to be a whole lot of work going on.
Shoot us in anywhere, anytime.
I think he has some big play in him.
Just search The Game Nashville in your app store and download today. And keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Baseball and the barrel. This is the Commodore Report. I'm Kevin Ingram. Vanderbilt and Louisville renew their rivalry on the diamond at Hawkins Field tonight in the annual Battle of the Barrel game. The Commodores will try to remain unbeaten this season in midweek home matchups, with lefty Devin Futrell having gone 8-0 in his freshman season. The Vandy boys have actually won 29 straight midweek home games dating back to 2019. First pitch at 6 o'clock tonight on the Vanderbilt Sports Network. Some door is heading to the pros. 2 Vanderbilt football players signed free agent deals at the completion of the NFL draft. Receiver Chris Pierce with Arizona and defensive back Alan George with the New York Jets. Congrats to Vandy golf alum Marina Alex on her second LPGA Tour win out in California over the weekend. First tournament win for Alex since 2018, made a key birdie on 16 in the final round and won by 1 stroke. After winning a second straight SEC title, Vanderbilt men's golf will earn its NCAA regional destination on Wednesday. Commodores are sure to be one of the top seeds in that next step toward a national title. Weekly honors from the American Conference for Vanderbilt lacrosse players Gabby Fournier and Callie Sundin. Fournier is the attacker of the week after setting single-game records for assists and points. In the 23-7 win over Cincinnati Saturday, Sundin made weekly honor roll as well. Spots are still open in Vanderbilt men's basketball summer camps. You can find the details at VUCommodores.com/men's basketball camps. And if you missed last night's Commodore Hour, be sure to download it at the Anchor podcast page on Apple and Spotify. That is the Commodore Report on 102.5 The Game and ESPN 94.9.
Gary Ashton here. I love hearing people say, don't sell without the intel, because it means they're really embracing our message. Now's a great time to sell your home in Nashville, but you need the intel only the Gary Ashton team can provide. Intel that helps you sell your home without any staging or showings. Intel to find your next home so you can sell your current one while the market's hot. Intel to win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity now. Let everyone else get the same information and compete for the same properties, while you get the Intel edge with the Gary Ashton team, the official real estate team for your Tennessee Titans. And if you're looking for a great career, join our team. We added 65 new agents last year, and we want you to join us this year. Remember, don't sell without the intel. And if you're looking for a great career, the Gary Ashton team wants you in 2022. Call 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com today.
This is Chef John from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville. Inviting you to come join us for breakfast and lunch. We are offering some exciting new menu items. For breakfast, we have a smoked prime rib hash. Comes with a sunny side up egg, hominy, caramelized onions. It's a great start to your day. We are featuring a sourdough pancake made with a sourdough bread starter. It's a fun spin on the classic buttermilk pancake. As always, Kitchen Notes is serving biscuits all day. Come join us and create a memorable experience here at the Omni Hotel. Food is all about memories for us. We'd like you to start a new memory here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Hotel.
Breakfast at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
NASCAR is back. Kyle Larson returns to Nashville Superspeedway a winner.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
It's Robby and Rexrode with Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in. Final hour of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Tuesday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. And we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And welcome in our friend Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports. Charles, how we doing? What's going on?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. How you doing today?
You're great. Appreciate you taking time to be with us. So, Charles, obviously, lots of discussion about A.J. Brown here in Nashville with him being traded from the Titans to the Philadelphia Eagles. What did you make of that move on the first round of the draft as the Titans were trading with the Eagles? They move up to 18 to go get Treylon Burks. What did you make of all that transpired with the Tennessee Titans on the first round of the NFL draft?
It was definitely an eyebrow raiser. It's, I think we talked on the show earlier about, when I was at the owners' meetings and I was standing in the lobby and John Robinson was talking about the money that wide receivers were making and just that, hey, a lot of money that the top tier receivers are making now. And, I think that they were really far apart on that contract, I think in excess of $5 million a year APY, and that's really hard to overcome. And, I think for John to put the value in, having younger, cheaper players, assets, and not having to build around a wide receiver contract, which sounds weird, but that's how some teams are starting to approach this, that hey, elite level receivers are going to make $25 to $30 million a year. Do we really want to build around a wide receiver deal, in particular if we have to build around a quarterback deal as well? And, some teams just aren't going to do it. They're going to sit there and say there's a lot of younger assets coming into the league. Wide receivers a position of strength the last couple of years in the draft. It's going to be a position of strength probably for the next few seasons, if not perpetually, given how players now train and work coming up at the position. And it's just one of those situations that's unfortunate because there's no doubt that A.J. Brown's a great player. There's no doubt that he had a connection with Ryan Tannehill. And it's, this is a part of the business that stinks. I think the Eagles sat there and said, hey, we're comfortable adding this kind of a contract to our team, and we don't have an issue, particularly considering Jalen Hurts is, on a rookie level deal at the quarterback position. We can afford to work somebody into our, cap structure that's going to make $25 million, plus moving forward. And, we'll see how it all shakes out, but it's, I know fans there probably are frustrated when you have something like this happen. And trust me, you're not alone. There are other fan bases that are sitting there staring at wide receivers that they've lost and quarterbacks with wide receivers that they've lost. Think about this. This is kind of crazy. The last 3 MVPs, league MVPs, all lost their top wide receivers this offseason. Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Hollywood Brown. That's 3 MVP quarterbacks that all lost their number 1 wideouts and realistically didn't really have them replaced adequately in this cycle. So that tells you a little bit about the NFL's team building right now and sacrifices that, franchises are making to figure out how they're going to operate moving forward with elite number 1 receivers.
That's a good headline to take out of this. Charles Robinson predicts Ryan Tannehill MVP in 2022. I think I think we can really work with that one.
I'll tell you what, like, imagine you're Ryan Tannehill and you're sitting there going, well, let's see, lost one of my closest friends and my number 1 wideout and gained company in the quarterback room. Awesome. Great. That's a good draft cycle for me. Not great.
Let me cast another line out to the sea. Drink another Celsius. Yes. So meanwhile, Charles, Deebo Samuel, the Niners don't. I mean, if you told me going in the draft, if one of the 2 teams is going to trade, their receiver on draft night, I would have picked the Niners, not the Titans. Where do you think that one goes?
Well, it's interesting because that sort of showcases the differences between, the Titans and the 49ers and how other franchises want to handle things. The Niners want to do the deal with Deebo Samuel. And frankly, I think it's going to be more expensive than the A.J. Brown deal would have been. But it's a scenario where the Niners are sitting there trying to figure out how to lay the groundwork for a return with Deebo Samuel. And there are a number of hurdles. And I think some of them are financial. There's the contract. There's the usage of him. Like, if he's going to continue to be used in this running back role as well as wide receiver, I think contractually that could potentially, at least from his standpoint, he's sitting there saying, I think I should probably be the highest paid wide receiver in the game because I do a multitude of different things. I take a different level of punishment than normal wide receivers do. But I don't think it's just contract. I do think part of it is the region of the country where he wants to finish his career, which frankly played into Devontae Adams wanting a trade, played into Tyreek Hill wanting a trade. So I do think how he continues forward and where he continues forward geographically matters to him. There's another thing too. Mike McDaniel, he was super close to Mike McDaniel. He basically created what Deebo Samuel became in that offense. Mike McDaniel leaves for the Miami Dolphins and then trades for Tyreek Hill to basically recreate the Deebo Samuel experience in Miami. And now Deebo's sitting there going, man, my guy, the one who I was most connected with on the coaching staff, is now gone. I think that has had an impact on him. So it's pretty complicated there. But the one thing is that the Niners are sitting there saying, A, we don't want to let him go. We got some good offers. You talked to the Lions and Jets. They both said, look, for what they wanted in return, it's clear they were not serious about trading him unless a team just absolutely forced the 49ers to say yes to a deal. So I can't really tell you what the path is to trying to work this out other than, the Niners basically saying, look, we have your rights. You got to show up, and let's try to make this work. And hoping that maybe they can get through 2022 and somehow, change his mind about both the staff, his role, and, where the finances are going. The finances to me are probably the least problematic because I do think the 49ers want to pay him. It's just sort of everything else that's going on in the franchise with him.
Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports on with us here on Robby and Rexrode. So, Charles, you brought it up with Tannehill. The Titans select Malik Willis in the 3rd round. What did you make of that pick, and what did you make of the quarterbacks sliding down as far as they did in the draft?
Well, Willis was interesting, and I think, first off, to answer the question about the quarterbacks, they turned out really the assessments that we heard early on were accurate. A lot of people in the league didn't like this class. said it lacked the star power at the top. A number of people were like, hey, I would be surprised if one quarterback gets drafted in the first round. Maybe no quarterbacks get drafted in the first round. I think it's really interesting that Kenny Pickett, the one that does get drafted in the first round, literally gets picked by the team that if you sat there and said, tell me about, the one franchise who knows the one quarterback better than any other franchise in the draft knowing a quarterback, it was clearly Pittsburgh. I mean, Pickett played in Pittsburgh. He's a door away. He was in their practice facility every single summer. And maybe that's why he ends up being a quarterback that gets drafted in the first round, because a franchise is so ridiculously familiar with him, that they know and has the need, that they know it's something that they, can establish and move forward feeling like, hey, we're not going to be blindsided by anything. Willis, on the other hand, what I thought was interesting, and I ended up writing literally heading into the first day of the draft, I was like, all right, let's do one more recheck on the quarterback position. It was funny because I had one general manager who had an established quarterback in the league and said, we had a conversation, like kind of an extended conversation about should we just draft Malik Willis anyway in the first round? And then I had an NFC team, an evaluator, and it was an NFC team where they were moderately needy at quarterback, who said he's not even a first-round pick. And that was pretty much emblematic of what the league thought of Malik Willis. Some teams loved him. Some teams thought, not a first-round pick, definitely a developmental player. It might be years before he kind of gets where we think he could go, like the skill set, but just not somebody we would take high. I think that's how he ends up getting drafted in the third round. Now, for the Titans, I think it's a good situation because, Ryan Tannehill, at the very least, is in the fold for 2022. There's a contract beyond 2022, but it gives the Titans an opportunity to work with a young player who needs some development as a passer, and they can figure out, pretty quickly, do we think this is someone that could eventually supplant Ryan Tannehill? And it gives them some flexibility beyond 2022. So, Ryan Tannehill, I don't know if I would view it as an immediate threat, but he is a player that was thought enough of in other organizations that if he is the first round pick they viewed him as, he could potentially challenge, for Tannehill's job beyond 2022. I don't think it's going to happen this year, but, given what his skill set is, given that he fits really where the league is going at quarterback, it's pretty interesting that now they have somebody in-house to groom and kind of look at while they consider what they want to do with Tannehill's contract beyond the season.
So we've already gotten into this. It's been close. I think the Matt Ryan pickup, could work out, but I'm not sold completely. If you had to pick right now, who's the better team? Who's the favorite in the AFC South? The Titans or the Colts? You can say the Jags if you want.
Yeah, right. It's hard to lose an A.J. Brown. Like, it really is. I don't know now. When I look at that depth chart, and I know, look, Julio Jones didn't work out, but it's hard to sit there and go, okay, they went into 2021, and these were, really the two wide receivers that they were going to depend on quite a bit going into 2021. Now you're going into 2022. You've definitely lost your number one elite level wide receiver, and you're replacing him with a rookie in Treylon Burks, who is not going to be a 1-for-1 replacement. It's it's hard not to look at the Colts and say, okay, it feels like they might have a little more traction. But as you said, they also are kind of up in there at quarterback. I don't know for sure. They feel very confident that Matt Ryan is not just a 2022 Band-Aid, that this is a player that might have enough juice left for the next couple of years. I don't know. I mean, if he's Phillip Rivers, if it's that all over again, they're going to be dipping right back into the quarterback class pretty quickly. If he's better than that, if he does have a little bit of wind left in his sails, they're going to be a tough team. And some of the issues that they had down the stretch with Carson Wentz, they won't have with Matt Ryan. Let me put it to you that way. There was a lot of internal stuff going on with Carson Wentz that I think chemistry-wise they felt like was a little more disruptive than what they had signed up for. That won't happen with Matt Ryan. He's the opposite. So if he's that calming sort of influence at an important position, that's going to help them immensely. I just think losing A.J. Brown for this offense with Tennessee puts a lot of pressure on the staff to try and, I don't know if you lean back into Derrick Henry, you go and you draft Haskins, who I thought was a pretty solid pick for the role that he can play for that team, and it becomes more of a run-dominated defensive team again. I don't know, man. I'd probably lean into the Colts right now just because I think you lost a really immense player in A.J. Brown, and I don't know what the ripple effects are going to be quite yet with that offense.
All right, Charles, last thing for you here. What did you think of the Ed Marinaro comedy hour announcing the Vikings pick?
Yeah, that was, I mean, he was definitely sailing without a map on that answer. I sat there and I was like, we should have put him on a clock. I was curious. It felt like a long time, but then when you see a producer come out on the stage, I'm like, wow, it's rare to see them, send somebody out and tell Ed to wrap it up.
Hey, read the pick, dude.
Read the pick. Yeah, it's interesting, kind of the production of what the draft has become is really interesting. Bringing these individuals out, whether it's actors, ex-players, whatever, to read the picks and keep people entertained. But not only that, I thought it was really interesting, too, that the Lions kind of got grief for turning in the Aiden Hutchinson card so fast, that the league was like, hey, let's let it play out a little bit. The league's sitting there thinking, like, hey, we have, commercial programming.
I was like this.
Yeah, Dan Campbell, I thought it was funny. Dan Campbell's like, yeah, we're not waiting for that. We don't care. That's our guy. We're going to turn that in fast. And we're not kind of going through the motions so the NFL can continue to, draw airtime and sell, commercial spots and stretch it out. It's wild kind of what the draft has become now. And Roger Goodell getting booed is now like a staple. It's just, it's such an entertainment event. And a little part of me wished I bowed out of going to Vegas, but now that I'm sitting there, and no offense, by the way, to Kansas City, Detroit, and I think probably Green Bay will be the next one, but I'm like, man, I can't believe I passed up Vegas, and the next 3 are in Kansas City, Detroit, and Green Bay. So,
hey, but you did not pass up Nashville, did you? No, that's you know what's up.
I didn't.
You know what's up.
I didn't. In Nashville, it was really entertaining. I had a really good time in Nashville, except for hanging out with you, Joe. But
yes.
Everything else was great.
You got to go to the bar. Listen, you got to go to the bar with Katie. Come on, man.
The chicken and the bachelorettes and Katie made it all worth it. So that was really what was.
That's right. Charles Robinson, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode, joins us every Tuesday morning at 9:00. Charles, great stuff as always, man. Appreciate you being with us this morning.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Have a good week.
All right, you too. Charles Robinson, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll take your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Chris Mason coming up at 9:30 as well. This is Robby here on ESPN 1025, The Game.
Join Chase McCabe for Chasing Checkers every Sunday morning at 8. Big names.
Two-time champion Kyle Busch.
Being able to bring NASCAR, the Cup Series, back to Nashville is cool.
It's Chasing Checkers, presented by Apple Collision Centers and the Nashville Super Speedway
on ESPN
1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now, 615-576-5000.
Attention all foremen with 3 years experience. Harness LLC is your local excavation and site utilities company. We're growing and we need 5 foremen to grow with us. This is Ray Jeter with Harness LLC. Invest in a company who's going to invest in you. Go to selectharness.com to apply today. The 5 foremen we hire will receive 100% paid health coverage, vacation, and up to $6,000 sign-on bonus. Go to selectharness.com and apply today. Harness LLC. Build people, move dirt.
Nashville's Anheuser-Busch distributor, Ajax Turner Company, is hiring Class A drivers and driver trainees who will obtain their Class A license through the company's very own driver training and testing program for free. Be home every day and off on weekends while earning competitive wages and receiving benefits like medical and life insurance, paid time off, 401k, and supplemental insurance programs. Apply at ajaxturner.com/career or call 615-280-3904. Anheuser-Busch reminds you to drink responsibly.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. There's no better time to upgrade your essential home systems than this month at Hiller. Until the end of May, Hiller is offering 0 interest for 60 months on select new HVAC systems, 0 interest for 12 months on new tankless water heaters, and 0 interest for 12 months on new whole home generators. If you know you need a new system for your home, do it this month. These financing offers are available for a limited time only. You stay comfortable and cool all summer and handle the payments later. Visit happyhiller.com for all the details. As always, happy you'll be here. The service is free. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Happy Tail Wagging Tuesday, Sounds fans. Bring your dog to the Nashville Sounds game tonight at First Horizon Park as the team takes on the Norfolk Tides. Proceeds from each dog ticket sold will benefit Wags and Walks Nashville. For more info and tickets, visit NashvilleSounds.com.
Zines First is the official sign company for 1025 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
It's the official Bud Light Preds watch party as your Nashville Predators take on Colorado for Game 2 this Thursday night. The puck drops at 8:30, but the party starts at 8 with all kinds of specials, like $6 on select cans or their delicious new Smashville cocktail for $10. Watch the game on the biggest screen downtown, and don't forget they have dozens of unlimited free vintage arcade games. We'll see you at Headquarters Beercade this Thursday night, downtown Nashville, 2nd Avenue. Go Preds!
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Robby and Rexrode on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
So 1025 The Game and myself coming up this Friday at the food court in Rivergate Mall from 12:30 to 2:30. You can come out, get registered to win a pair of tickets to round 1, game 3 of the Stanley Cup playoffs as the Preds take on the Colorado Avalanche at Bridgestone Arena coming up on Saturday. That's this Friday at the Rivergate Mall at the food court from 12:30 to 2:30. Make sure you're there. I'll be there as well. Come get registered to win a pair of tickets to round 1, game 3 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025 The Game, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio here with you on this Tuesday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Thanks to Charles Robinson for joining us there in the last segment.